Me, your man, Louie Tee. Welcome to the Command Post Game Live Show. Commanders wrap up their 2022 season with a resounding 26-6 victory over the Dallas Cowboys in unexpected fashion. Honestly speaking, can I keep it a buck with y'all? Y'all know that's what I do with y'all. And so I was rooting like hell for us to win this game. I really wanted to lose. All leading up to the game, I wanted us to find a way to, get better draft position, all this. Y'all know how I am, man. I told y'all the story about when I was tutoring, the third grade little girl. She's 9 years old. We're done for the day. We're waiting for her parents to pick her up. We're playing tic-tac-toe, and I'm just killing her, man. I mean, I done won like 5 in a row. And I can see the look on her face. She's dejected. She just needs a dub, right? Lift her spirits up. And I started to feel bad, and I was like, all right, man, give her the dub, bro. Give her one. Toss her a bone. And so I go X, she goes O, and all I have to do is put my X in this erroneous spot, right? And she's going to go tic-tac-toe 3 in a row. And as I started to put my little X in the wrong spot, my hand starts to shake uncontrollably. And then I put the X and I go 3 in a row. Oh, you almost got me. That's how I was going into the game today. All game long, I'm sitting there, all week. We need to lose. We need draft position. But that's not who I am at my core, at my essence. I'm staring at a division rival. I'm staring at Dallas. And I talked about how I'm sick of losing to Dakota. And we're kicking his ass. He had one of the worst games of his career. You probably got to go back to his rookie season for some of these numbers. The man was 14 of 37. That's 37% completion percentage. They went 3 and out 10 times today. He was on the field for 9 of them. We kicked their ass up and down the damn field, and I loved every second of it. And from the moment we came out and we got the turnover on the, muffed punt, really when the punter dropped the ball and got hit, I was like, man, let's go beat these bastards, man. I couldn't help myself. Y'all know how I am. I want to win, man. Damn. It doesn't help, but damn, it feels good. Sometimes it's the little victories in life that matter the most. Nope, we're not going to the playoffs. Yep, that shit sucks. Nope, I'm not excited about the fact that we're the only team in the division watching next week. However, outside of the Giants, we've beaten every team in the division this year. Feels good. All right. Unlike Philadelphia, we didn't beat a compromised Dallas. We didn't beat a Cooper Rush-led Dallas Cowboys. We beat the Dak version with T.Y. Hilton, the improved version of Dallas that was rolling up 30, 40, 50 on everybody. 6 points. Go sit down. We didn't beat the Gardner Minshew-led Philadelphia Eagles like Dallas did. No. We beat them at their height, at their peak, undefeated in their building on a Monday night. Put a 32 spot on their head. So, yeah, not happy about the way the season ended. Not happy that we're not going to the playoffs. But put some damn respect on our name. Still want Scott Turner ass gone. And if Ron can't figure that shit out, I want him gone too. Nothing has changed. Sam Howell, we'll talk about him all night long. Like Lionel Richie. All night long, all night. Oh, all night long, all night, all night. We got all the time in the world to talk about him. So we're going to get to him in a second. But I talked to Law. Law called me on the phone. Which is part of the reason it took me a little while to get up here. And he hit me up right at the end of the game. He was on live and he was speaking to me. And he said, I know I'm going to hear this all off season. I said, you damn right you are. You damn right. He's like, I said, y'all got to clean this shit up, man. I told everybody that, Dak's turning into Taylor Heineke, where he's going to turn it over once or twice. You're just hoping it's not a pick six like it was this week. But Dak he leads the league in interceptions. Derek Carr didn't get a chance to finish what he started. Dak took over that thing. 15 of those boys this season. I thought this was going to be their get-right game. He said, I did too. I thought we was going to get our shit together, head into the playoffs, riding high, feeling good. I did as well. This was a shock to all of us. A welcomed shock. Going to try to set up a Super Friends stream this week, for the playoffs. Everybody's in except us, so hopefully we can get that done. But whatever the case may be, look, in this league, you take the wins any way you can get them. And this would have been less gratifying, less satisfying if Dak and company would have played a quarter or two. They played the whole game. They got their asses throttled by our JV squad, which takes me to my next point. I hate our coaching staff. This solidified it for me. I hate this coaching staff with a passion. And I got to come down on everybody because this is a universal failure by the entire. This isn't just a coordinator or a Ron Rivera issue. This is an entire staff issue. And I'm not there. I'm not behind the scenes. So I can't say if some of these positional coaches were pushing for some of these guys to get on the field or not. But damn it, why did we have to sit through a whole season or a half a season of the combination of John Bostic and David Mayo? Can anybody answer me that? When I'm watching Khaleke Hudson fly around the effing field tonight, blitzing, which is what he did well in college at Michigan, all right, blitzing, getting to the quarterback, causing havoc, flying to the football. Why am I watching two goddamn veteran crumbs on my football field for 9 weeks when this guy, spry, fresh, young, energetic, is sitting here and we've been talking about his ass for 3 years? You telling me he can't get on the field over goddamn David Mayo and John Bostic? You got to be outside your damn mind. This shit is ridiculous. I'm watching some of these young boys fly around and I'm saying, why am I watching Danny Johnson play inside when he can play outside like this? Why do we even have Christian Holmes in the game ever if Danny Johnson can play this well on the outside? Why? Because his name's Danny Johnson? Why can't Khaleke Hudson get on the field? Because he's Khaleke Hudson? Why? Because you trust David Mayo? Because you trust John Bostic? Man, I'm going to tell you what. Percy Butler looked damn good tonight. Flying around. Boy, look fast. But then again, Zeke is in the old folks' home. But on that one run where he passed Montez. Watch out, Montez. I got this. And he tracks Zeke down and throws him on the ground for like a 2-yard loss. I'm saying, why? And we can't get this young man on the field? You forcing Bobby McCain down my damn throat. And look, Bobby's solid, but you forcing Bobby McCain down my damn throat. But I can't get this young fella on the field? Don't tell me that Derek Forrest's emergence stopped Percy Butler, because we play a lot of 3 safety looks. Don't tell me that you can't move some of these other guys around. Don't tell me Derek Forrest can't come down and play in a box. Percy can get some of that work up top. Don't tell me Percy can't come down in the box and keep Derek over the top. That's frustrating, man. That's frustrating. That Cowboys pass rush, pretty much non-existent tonight. Pretty much non-existent. You telling me Chris Paul couldn't get a look-see with all the shit we had going on the interior from guard to guard, including Andrew Norwell playing like a 75-year-old man? You telling me there wasn't one opportunity for Chris Paul to see the field at any point this season? What was the alternative? Keep putting the same dudes on the field that's getting their ass whooped week after week. Patua Ia, the defensive tackle we signed like 2.5 months ago. He was playing his ass off tonight. Why we ain't never see him? These things boggle the mind. I struggle with some of the decision making of this coaching staff. I don't understand. And for the life of me, I watched a young, energetic group out there playing their asses off. And I saw guys that should have been getting some run this year. We weren't good enough for these guys to not be getting on the field. We had injuries at linebacker. Unbelievable. Khalid was rushing. Khalid was dropping into coverage. He was down around the line of scrimmage making plays. You telling me he can't get no run? At the worst position depth-wise on the roster, he can't get a sniff? He didn't even make the roster this year. Where's the psychological sense in that? You need to wash your face and get your mind right. Unbelievable. The nerve of these peasants. I'm over it, though. I'm over it. It was a good win. I'll take it against Dak. Ron got over the 7-win threshold. So you can't say Ron can't win more than 7 games now. That's dead and gone. All right, that horse can no longer be beat. It's dead, but now Ron has moved on. 8-1 for the squad. Finished at 500. As crazy as that sounds, every team in the NFC East finished at 500 or above. We are bringing up the rear, unfortunately. Where the hell was this effort last week? That's what you got to ask yourself. That's what frustrates all of us. I can speak for you in this moment because I know you agree with me wholeheartedly. Where was this shit last week or against the Giants when we played the Giants? Where was this effort when you had to have it? Where was this at? I don't understand. And, maybe you get a team playing loose because there's nothing on the line. I've always said that teams are a reflection of their head coach. I told you against the Giants, Ron Rivera coached like a man who was coaching scared not to lose. He coached like a man that was going in that game scared, uptight, and playing conservative and playing close to the vest. Meanwhile, the Giants come in and they were going for it on 4th and 9. This team had nothing to lose. It's easy. I've said this before. It's easy to come in. You saw what Carson Wentz did against the 49ers a couple of weeks ago when he came in and mop-up duty, throwing the football. They were blitzing them. Don't get it twisted. This was not, prevent defense, and he's just coming in. And no, they were coming after his ass. But you know why he was so comfortable? He had shit to lose. He didn't start this game. This wasn't his loss. He was just coming in and cleaning up a mess. I come in, throw it around the field a little bit. There's no real implications to what I'm doing here. Yeah, but that next week we put your ass in there. Pressure's on now. Look what he did. He folded up like a cheap lawn chair. It's frustrating, man. This game should have been for a playoff spot. Should have been for a playoff spot. Anyway, that was fun. I enjoyed that thoroughly. Shout out to Joey Sly for trying to do his part to improve draft status. But at some point, bro, you got to make kicks. Okay. That was not the way you want to finish the season out. But with that said, he's fine. A lot of you were, going in on him. We need to draft a kicker and that shit. No, we don't. I don't want to waste the draft pick on a kicker. Joey Sly is fine. He's got to tighten up. He's got to be better than that shit. But he'll be fine. As far as Sam Howell is concerned, my thoughts on Sam, and look, we'll talk about him. Matter of fact, I will just let you guys bring him up because I know we're going to get 85 million comments on Sam Howell tonight. So let's just get the party started and see what you guys have to say. Let's see. Jay Hunter Lee. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for kicking the night off. My guy Jay Hunter Lee writes, Brother Lou, is this something to look forward to next year, or was Dallas just playing vanilla football? There wasn't anything vanilla about what Dallas was doing. They thought they were going to come in, kick our ass, and get out of there, and we were having none of it. Look, this is the thing with Dallas. They've got a tendency to play down to their level of competition. This is a fact. We saw them do it against Houston. We saw them do it against Indianapolis for 3 quarters before they ran away in that game. We saw them do it against the Titans last Thursday before running away and hiding in that game. This is what they do. This is their move. They play down to the level of competition, capable of beating anybody in the league. They can score with anybody, but they're also a turnover-prone, undisciplined football team. And you saw it again tonight. This is probably the 4th or 5th game in a row where they've had multiple turnovers. Like, they can't protect the football. They're very loose with it, and they make too many mistakes for a team that has Super Bowl aspirations. I wouldn't be shocked. You know, Condo P has been consistently saying they'll be home after Wild Card Weekend. They'll be on the couch with us. I didn't believe that because I look at Tampa Bay and I'm saying I just don't see Tampa Bay beating anybody. But after watching what I watched today and what I've pretty much watched from Dallas over the last month of the season, Dallas is very capable of going into Tampa Bay, turning it over twice and losing that football game 20-10 or some shit like that. Like, they're capable of doing exactly what they did today, laying a stinking ass egg. Remember the last time they played Tampa Bay, they scored 3 whole points. All right, 3 whole points. They're capable of going to Tampa and getting their ass reamed if they play like they did today. And that's been their move. This is what they've turned it over. Turpin is a Pro Bowler. That dude is a walking, fumbling machine, okay? Whether he's running with it and gets hit and fumbles or he drops it, he's muffed more punts than a little bit this year. So they're in trouble, man. They're in some trouble. But is this something to look forward to next year? I don't know. I told you, don't take this Sam Howell game and performance. And honestly, there wasn't enough of a sample size here for you to even really, get too excited over Sam, because God forbid Sam throw the football 25, 30 times in this game. Scott Turner was treating this shit like we were trying to get into the playoffs. Bro, this game should be about, you want to win, but it's also an evaluation for, Sam Howell. Give him an opportunity to let it rip. 19 passing attempts? Are you kidding me? What are we? This isn't a preseason game, and hell, even in the preseason, you want to see what he can do. This was bullshit in terms of giving him an opportunity. It was run, throw it on 3rd down. Like, at some point, give this man an opportunity. That shit was garbage, but that's Scott Turner. Let's see. Barrett Downing, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. BD, thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Writes, thanks for keeping me sane all year, Lou. I guess we got an appetizer at quarterback. What do you think? I told you that was the sampler. That was the Sam Howell, and that's literally what it was. We didn't even get an opportunity to say, you know what? I'd like to try the full shebang. Let me get the entree. We literally got a sampler. 19 passing attempts. He literally got a sampler. But I don't know why I thought that we would get anything else other than what we got out of Scott Turner. I don't know why I would think this would be any different. But I told you, either way, I was going to walk away intrigued. Either intrigued to the point where he's a backup. Because how many times during the telecast did you hear exactly what I told you guys about Sam Howell? I said, he reminds me of a bigger, a thicker, because he's not that much taller, but a thicker, stronger armed, more athletic version of Taylor Heinicke. That's how people view him. He's going to have to change that narrative and say, I'm not him. I'm more Baker Mayfield than I am, Taylor Heinicke. He's going to have to change that narrative. But what we did see in the small sample size, and this was something that he did really well at North Carolina, and we saw it again tonight. Boy, can he throw the deep ball. Jahan dropped one, and Terry caught one, and both of them were dimes. Okay, so if nothing else, you knew he was athletically gifted. We knew he could run. That was a beautiful keep down in the red zone. He would significantly change the way teams would be able to defend us in the red zone because of his athleticism. Like that poses a threat for teams that you have to account for in the red zone. You could see the Cowboys weren't ready for that. When he kept it that first time and ran, and you saw Michael Parsons, hauling ass down the line, that's a team that was unprepared for what Sam Howell brought to the table. Because we haven't had a quarterback all year long that's keeping that. They're just giving that thing. They're not keeping it on read option. So he offers a few wrinkles that, frankly, no other quarterback on the roster can offer. And so, it was fun to watch that. But keep in mind, You know, it's a very, very small sample size. It's a sampler, literally. But I'm intrigued. I wouldn't mind seeing more, kind of like Heineke in 2020, that one start, right, against Tampa. We were like, hey, I'd like to see more, you know? And we got 16 games, 15 starts the following year, and we determined that's more than enough for most of us. Some of you were like, hey, give him another shot. Now, I'm good. He's a backup. But I wanted to see it. I'm in that same boat with Sam Howell. I wouldn't mind seeing that. Like, if we didn't get a quarterback in the draft, and this is going to significantly impact our draft status, we go from, being probably like 11 or 12 to, now we're a legitimate, 19, 20 in the draft, probably just missing out of the playoffs. So we'll probably be in that 18, 19 range, I think, because we weren't the first team out, right? That distinction will probably go to Detroit because they'll probably lose tonight, or Seattle, actually, excuse me, because Seattle would get in if Green Bay were to lose. So we'll be the second team out. So I guess that would put us, there are 14 teams that make the playoffs. So that means the non-playoff teams started right around 18. I guess that's where they would start. And then we would probably be like 16th, somewhere in there. Because it used to be 12, and the non-playoff teams started at roughly 20. I think they started now 18, or it's got to be right around 18 or 19, 17, or something like that. So we'll be somewhere in that mix. I'm cool with it. It is what it is. Barry Curtis Jr. And just for the record, BD, I appreciate you all year long and continuing to hold me down. So I appreciate you. Barry Curtis Jr., thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, should have went to Sam Howell, could have had a larger sample size. Why not start guys that we already know are mid and not going to get us anywhere? Shaking my head. Scott's play calling so predictable. Huh? That's right here. It was frozen. So that's my problem. That I in the MOBB during the game, I literally said I hate this staff, and that was why. Because I'm watching all these young boys play, and I'm like, one of Ron's big, overarching themes all year long was let the young guys play. Well, if that's true, then why the hell are we trotting out 76-year-old Andrew Norwell and 80-year-old Trey Turner? Why are these guys infiltrating our offensive line on a weekly basis if that's how you feel about playing the young guys? If that's how you feel about playing the young guys, why is a nice, healthy glob of mayo, blessing my field and spreading all over my field, along with some dirty, nasty John Boone Bostic, when I got a young, fresh stallion out here that can run around and make plays alongside Jamin Davis and Khalil Hudson? Why is that happening? These are the things that boggle the mind for me. Bobby McCain is a solid veteran. Love him to death. Percy Butler should be getting more run. We said that Percy could do a lot on a football field, including play the slot. Because obviously Bobby McCain ain't it inside. He ain't it. Again, I don't understand it. Sam playing earlier, they may have been able to do that, but look, at the end of the day, there was never a time this season where Sam Howell should have been playing. You could argue he could have, but should. There was never a time where he should have been playing. We were never out of it. Okay? So should have been playing, you can't use that word. Could they have put him in? Sure. Why not? But theoretically speaking, you saw the mistake he made on the throw in the end zone that got picked. There's more where that came from. The more he plays, the more mistakes he's going to make, because that's what young quarterbacks do. Okay? So for as well as he played at times today, you're going to get a lot of mistakes. And there are going to be a lot more of those mistakes that are head scratching, and you're frustrated and you're upset. And you're saying, well, Heineke and Wentz were doing that shit, so what difference does it make? Touche. I'm not telling you you're wrong. I'm just telling you that in the situation that we were in, you're going to play the veteran. You're going to play the guy that you feel like gives you a better chance because there's too much of an unknown. We knew what we were getting out of Taylor Heineke. All right. There was too much of an unknown factor and risk with Sam Howell, but it is what it is at the end of the day. Let's see. Marcus B. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Marcus writes, Lou went to the game, was in Dallas fans' ears. I bet you were. As you should have been. I didn't see this coming, man. And you best believe me and my dad, we don't talk shit to each other because I made it a habit a long time ago. I learned my lesson as a young lad. You don't want to do that. Your team's not good enough for you to be talking shit to anybody, especially Dallas, who seems to beat you twice a year, every year. You don't want to do that. Just keep your damn mouth shut. So I've learned over the years to not engage in that kind of warfare because I don't want the smoke. That said, he will hear from me on this. And he'll volunteer. I won't even have to say anything. I can just look at him and he'll just start just having diarrhea of the mouth, going in on Dak, going in on Mike McCarthy and this entire team. And, but it'll be fun to listen to. I don't even have to say anything. He'll pretty much lay them out by himself. But look, I don't have much ammunition when all three teams other than us in the division are going to the playoffs for that next Super Friends stream. I don't have much ammunition, but I gave you the ammunition that I do have. I've already laid that out on the table. We beat the Eagles at full strength. We're the only team in the division to beat them with Jalen Hurts. As a matter of fact, we're the only team in the league to beat the Eagles with Jalen Hurts. I think that's going to come to an end in the postseason, but we'll see. And we beat we're the only team in the division to beat Dallas with Dak Prescott. So again, I will take some solace in that. I will take some solace in that for sure. So you deserve to be in Dallas Cowboys fans' ears. He said, Chris Devers, my guy, CD. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. CD writes, congratulations, LOL. All I can say, and I'm worried. You should be. You should be very, very concerned with what you watched today and really what you watched over the last month, going all the way back to the Texans game. You should be very concerned about this team because the turnovers have not ceased. They continue to persist. And these are debilitating turnovers. These aren't turnovers where you're right around midfield or it's like a punt. These are turnovers deep in your own territory, muffed punts, where you're setting up the other team in prime field position. Pick sixes are being thrown. He threw one against the Eagles. He threw one today. Like, these are concerning issues that haven't gone away, that continue to get worse. And this was the worst showing of the offense all season long, going all the way back to week 1, where you scored 3 points against Tampa Bay and lost 19-3. This was the worst performance since then. So, yeah, you should be concerned. This was Deshaun Watson waltzed into Washington last week and didn't turn it over and threw 3 touchdown passes. I was expecting much of the same from Dak Prescott. Did not expect Dakota to have one of his worst games of his career. You should be concerned. Rob Yu, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Rob Yu, thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Writes, Lou, where was this last week when it mattered? I think at the end of the day, I think most people are going to have that same comment. I've already said it myself. And I think most people are going to have that same sentiment when it's all said and done. And they're going to want to know, where was this at when it was on the line? I'm going all the way back to week 15 against the Giants. Where was this shit at in a game where you pretty much make the playoffs? You saw what the Giants did. The Giants won one game after they beat us. One. That's all it took. One game. All we would have had to do was win one game after we beat the Giants, and we were in. That's it. That's how we talked about the percentage and how it jumped to 91% if we beat the Giants, and how it dipped to 36% or whatever it was if we lost to them. We talked about how impactful. That was the game. That was the one that got away. This was the effort that was required in that game or the game last week, and we didn't get it. But what I'm seeing, okay, you can't ignore the signs any longer. What I'm seeing with this team and this organization is when the shit is not, when there are no expectations, that's when we're at our best. We can't handle success. We can't handle people thinking that we should win. We can't handle the pressure of a big moment or a big game. We have to be massive underdogs, or it has to be a game that is as meaningless as it gets for us to be able to perform at our best. We saw it against the Eagles on a Monday night. We were 10-point underdogs, 11-point underdogs, whatever it was. It was a massive underdog. We won by 11. We were 11-point dogs. Won that game by 11 points. We had nothing to lose. We just could go in and play loosey-goosey and free. Anytime we're supposed to win or there's pressure on us, that's when we fold up. This game means nothing. Dallas is going to come in here and steamroll us. This is a prep game for them for the playoffs. They're going to come in here. I said they were going to score 41 points. I told you we would be in this ball game 20-10 at halftime. It'd be 20-13 midway through the third, and then they'd run away and hide in late stages of the third into the fourth. Nah, that wasn't how this game went. That wasn't the narrative of this game. It's not how this story went. I couldn't have been more wrong. But that's because we had nothing to play for other than pride. Dallas has got everything on the line in terms of, winning the East and, potentially getting the number 1 seed, pending other outcomes, as high as the 2 seed if they can't get the 1 seed, if the 49ers take care of business, but the Eagles lose. They had all that to play for, and we had nothing. So we just came out and we just beat the shit out of them. Your guess is as good as mine, man. Brandon J, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Sup, Lou? Sup, Brandon? Good win. I know you didn't want to win this game because it'll give y'all a worst draft pick, but neither did my team. We suck. You know what, Brandon? I got respect for you. I got respect for my guy, CD. I got respect for all the Cowboys fans that's showing up and manning up, because that's not easy to do. Eagles fans are the worst at that. There's a couple of them. Mike Stevenson and Philly fan. There are a couple of y'all that would show up. But for the most part, witness protection plan. All right? Witness protection program. And then when they win or we lose, they show up in droves, which is a bitch move. So I appreciate you, Brandon, standing in yours. All 10 toes down, standing in that and manning up and saying, yeah, we stunk it up. And, I typed this in the MOBB earlier when Washington was doing stupid shit like throwing a pick in the end zone, missing a field goal, missing an extra point, doing all the shit that loser teams do. And I said, neither one of these teams looks like they should be playing next week. Both of these teams look like they should be on the couch next week. It's amazing. But I told Law this. I said, the beauty is you get to do it again next week. We don't. So you got a chance to rectify all that. Nobody will be talking about this game next week if you win. You don't win this game, and then people will start pointing back at the game last week saying, see, this was a precursor to what was to come in the playoffs. When they went out and stunk it up in Landover, Maryland in week 18, that was a precursor of what was to come in the playoffs. You go in, you win, you throttle the Bucs next week. No one's talking about this shit. You get a chance to do it over next week when it matters. We'll see what you do. Swaggy P, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Swaggy P writes, where the F was this performance last week? I think that's the $1 million question, is where the hell was this last week? Where was this in week 15? D played lights out. Dak looked like crap, and Howell looked decent. He looked like the good mix of Wentz and Heineke. Wish Turner would let him throw the ball more. Hashtag HTTC. I wish he would have let him throw it. I said in the MOBB, I said, I'd like to see Howell throw it 25 times in the second half. I knew that was far-fetched, because it wasn't clearly from what we saw in the first half, they weren't going to let him throw it. But it was disappointing, to say the least, that he didn't get to throw a little bit more. But the few flashes that we saw, he made some throws, man, that get you excited and say, hey, I want to see more, right? He intrigued enough to say, if we don't draft a guy and you don't like the veteran options that exist, I'd run it back, re-sign Heineke, bring this kid back. Obviously he's not going anywhere. Bring Heineke back and let those be the two guys you roll in here with. If you want an undrafted guy or a late round guy to come in here, be your third quarterback that you groom a little bit, sure, knock yourself out, right? But at the end of the day, I wouldn't have a problem with seeing what this guy looks like for a full 17 next year. If you don't have a scenario that you love, if you can't get up and get one of these quarterbacks that you truly love, I don't want to go the veteran route again. I'm sick of that. I'm done with that. I don't want Derek Carr. I don't want Jimmy Garoppolo. You saw them playing pressure luck with the wheel of possible free agent quarterbacks or the draft picks. You saw the quarterbacks' names on that list: Jacoby Brissett and Derek Carr and Jimmy Garoppolo and Daniel Jones. I don't want any of those damn quarterbacks. And Lamar Jackson. Most of those guys aren't even going to be available. Lamar Jackson's going to be franchise tagged. Daniel Jones, if he can't reach a long-term deal, is going to be franchise tagged. You got to give up some draft capital for Derek Carr, and you got to eat his salary. It's a lot of money. Like, we're not trying to do that shit again. We did that last year with Carson. I don't want to do that shit again. So, yeah, where was that last week? That's the $1 million question. And you know how the D played lights out? Because they put young boys out there that were hungry, who were starving for an opportunity out there, and let's let them turn them loose, which is what we should have been doing all year long. That's frustrating. Turn the young boys loose, man. Let them young boys play ball. Rob you, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Rob you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Rob you, who writes, hold on, and I'm watching the Packers game as we speak, so I'll be periodically looking over at my screen to keep abreast of what's going on here. Green Bay wins and they're in. They don't win. Seattle is in. They should have let Sam throw it more. I agree. I couldn't agree with that more. I wanted Sam to throw it more. I thought that was what this was supposed to be about. Yep, you want to win and all of that is great, but this was more about the evaluation of Sam Howell, right? Like, again, I already told you weren't going to gain, this definitive take on him after this game. This wasn't going to be Sam can definitely, be our starter next year. He's a beast, or Sam stinks. Get him out of here. I just wanted to see more of what Sam Howell is capable of on an NFL field. I know what he was capable of in college. This ain't college. Small sample size in the preseason. I wanted to see more. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see more. Red Wing 01. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy, Red Wing 01 writes, my head. We shouldn't judge a rookie on one game. My drunk ass. Sam is the man. Sam the man is the future. Cry Dak the hack. I got my glass of wine and cheers to another season. Not successful, but just cheers to another season. And cheers to beating Dallas. Shit, we beat Dak Prescott. That's only the second time we've done that. Cheers to that. Shit, glasses up. Your head is right in this situation, okay? Your head is right by telling you can't judge a rookie quarterback on one game. And we've been through this, I brought this up during the course of the week. We've been through this before already with Dwayne Haskins. Remember when Dwayne played the final 3 games of the 2019 season, his rookie year, and it wasn't the final 3. It was like the final 6 or 7 games. I think it was like the last 7 games of that season or whatever. And, he lost most of those games. I think he only beat Detroit. But he showed flashes in a number of those games. And we thought we had something. We were gung-ho after that. that small sample size, like, yeah, Dwayne gonna kill it. And we all know what happened after that. So can't go, crazy over this one start. And I made sure to try to spell that out to you guys during the course of the week. Like, hey, Sam's playing, whoop did he do? It'll be fun to watch him play, but at the end of the day, you're not going to be able to glean but so much from him getting this start. And clearly 19 attempts doesn't really give you a full picture of what he's fully capable of. So, Kevin, the PRF, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, super chat should be in by now. Yo, you put your whites in the attic after the Browns game? Nah, I didn't think the whites were representative of how I felt. Like, burgundy's good enough. You don't get white after the shit we did last week and losing to the Giants. And you don't get white here. Burgundy is good enough. It's not black, right? It's not black, but you don't get white. Not after this one. This felt good. Don't get me wrong, but the disappointment of last week trumps the excitement of this week. So for some, it may balance it out because it's a win against Dallas, and that makes you feel warm and fuzzy inside. I'm still pissed off about the fact that this should have been a play-in game for us. This should have been a play-in game for us, and it wasn't. I'm watching the Lions. We should be playing right now, as a matter of fact. If we would have taken care of business against the Browns, we would have been on 8:30. Ron was right. We would have been on right now against Dallas. And if they would have did the same shit that they just did, we would have beat their ass just like we beat them. Obviously, a lot of those guys that played tonight wouldn't have played, and maybe the outcome of the game is different. If Jamin Davis is out there instead of Khalil Hudson, if the offensive line, it doesn't get reshuffled and Cornelius Lucas is out there. Did you realize there wasn't a lot of pressure on Sam tonight? Now, some of that is, they kept them honest with his legs and he took off. Like, that's what Heineke used to do before he went all Hollywood on us, looking to stick it around in the league. He used to just take off and go. He didn't like what he saw. He used to just take off and run before he got all Hollywood on us. Sam was taking off on their ass, So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and check and see if the supers are in. I appreciate you as always, Kevin, the PRF. You know what else was also fun? What was also fun was Terry outdoing CeeDee Lamb in this game. Only 3 catches, but it was some big ones. A touchdown, a 55-yarder. Jahan looking really good. Matter of fact, speaking of which, who looked good too? And I've been shitting on him. Jarrett Patterson looked real good today. I actually like him more than I like Williams. Am I wrong for that? Am I tripping? I watched him again today, and being that he can return kickoffs, and I think he serves a bigger purpose. Like, you know what I'm ready to do? Because I really like JD McKissick. I'm ready to say, how about Jarrett Patterson just takes JD's spot on the team? Am I tripping for that? Maybe I am. And I love JD. He keeps the locker room light. They love him, and he's done some good things here. But I think I'm at the point now where I'm like, I think I like Jarrett Patterson. Like, if we had to go to a third back, I think I like what he did tonight. He ran hard. He always ran hard. That was never a question. But he looked a little bit more explosive tonight for some reason. Anyway, I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping. Let me go and get to these supers that you speak of. See what I missed. If I missed anything. Let's see. Thank you. Got one here from Major Enlightenment. John Perez, Agent Starface, Derek B. Yeah, so we can knock those out. So thank you for this, Kevin, the PRF. Appreciate you. So Major Enlightenment. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Major Enlightenment writes, Dallas had their entire starters out there for the whole game. No excuses for the loss. Facts. And that's why Law called me. That's why Brandon Jay stepped up and said what he said. That's why Chris Devers stepped up and said what he said, because this wasn't, oh, Dak and company were in for a quarter and then they took their boys out and it was Cooper Rush's show. This was Dak for 3 3/4 of this game. They didn't take him out until literally the final 2 drives of the game. This was a total ass thrashing, start to finish, of a playoff team that didn't look like they were prepared for the show. They looked like they wanted to give their ticket away to somebody else. So I couldn't agree with you more. There's no excuse for what happened, which is why I now have ammunition for the next Super Friends stream. Look, I can't say but so much, because they're still going to play next week, which is where we ultimately want to be, right? They're going to play a game next week. We're not. So there's only so much I can say, but at least I still got my pride and dignity intact. I can go in with my head held high knowing beat your ass. Didn't beat the Giants. We tied with them, but that's still not good enough for me. Anyway, I digress. Thank you for the super chat, Major Enlightenment. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. John Perez, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, JP, writes, glad we finally beat Dallas, but our draft positioning is ruined. Luckily, Snyder will finally be gone after 23 years of terror. Still need a quarterback. I knew you were going to go straight to the draft positioning, and you're not wrong. I don't know if they were going to do anything with it anyway, but this was one of those situations where it was a win-win for us. You win the game, great. You beat Dak Prescott, you beat Dallas. That feels good. You lose the game, and we get draft positioning. So to me, it was a win-win. For those of you who really wanted the draft positioning, yeah, this is more of an L for you, but I don't mind beating Dallas. And to your point, I think the real story here that can't be lost in all of this is that hopefully was Daniel Snyder's final home game as owner of the Washington organization. That's the hope, is that we no longer have to watch this man systematically destroy this organization from the top down. So let's hope that he sells this team, which that's the full expectation this offseason. And that'll be the biggest win that this organization has seen since 1991. Thank you for that super chat, JP. Agent Starface, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, we got a QB. The search is over. Draft O-line and cornerback. Can't go that far after. Again, this is what I was hoping to avoid when I kept telling you all week long. You shouldn't have a firm, definitive conclusion after watching Sam Howell in one game. Whether he stinks or he lights it up, and he didn't do either. He didn't do either. He showed flashes, but he had a bad pick. He only threw it 19 times. Showed the athleticism, which we knew he possessed. You shouldn't be definitive either way. But no one's doubting that we do need offensive line help and we do need cornerback help. Facts on top of facts. But I can't co-sign the quarterback search is over. If you're in a position to get a quarterback, get a quarterback. And I'd like to see Sam compete no matter what happens. But if you go out and you get a veteran, the likelihood is that veteran is going to be starting. The thing that I was most excited about, to be honest with you, was the touchdown run. Because if he can do that in the red zone, that changes everything. I've already told you the best red zone teams are the ones that can run the football. And it doesn't matter who's running the football, whether it's your running back, it's a receiver, or it's your quarterback. The best red zone offenses can score on the ground. It's so hard to throw in the red zone. If you can score running a football, you're going to be a very prolific and efficient red zone offense. Howell's ability to run, keep that bitch, create off schedule with his legs, that's problematic for NFL defenses. That was the thing that excited me the most. Him cutting that bitch back against the grain and lowering his shoulder and getting in, that shit was impressive. Thank you for that super chat. Greatly appreciate you, Agent Starface. Derek B, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, most points of the season if Sly makes his kicks. Absurd. Yeah, would have been 33. 2 field goals would have made it 32. The extra point would have made it 33. We would have outdone our 32-point output. I wanted 30 back. When we got down there that last time and Scott Turner bitched up and ran it 3 straight times and kicked the field goal, I wanted to slap the shit out of him. But I knew what he was doing. He was like, the only thing that could kill us right here, because a field goal, right, in that spot pretty much put the game out of reach. The only thing that was, they were already down 3 scores, so we pretty much had the game in hand, which is why I wanted to throw the field goal to make it 23 was the important one, because that's what made it a 3-score game. Like, Dallas couldn't score 2 touchdowns, go for 2 twice, or no crazy shit like that. That last touchdown drive or field goal drive, I was like, yo, I want 30 on these boys' head. I want a touchdown. When it was 3rd and 4, I was like, let Sam cook. Either read option this bitch or let Sam throw a slant. He's been connecting on these bitches all night. Let him throw it. He wouldn't let him throw it. Ran it on 1st down, ran it on 2nd down, ran it on 3rd down, kicked the field goal. I said, you bitch. But that's Scott Turner, man. It is what it is. Let me stop calling that man out of his name. That's not right. Just frustrated with him. I'm over him. But if Sly makes his kicks, you're right. Would have been our highest output of the season. Thank you for that, Kevin the PRF. Greatly appreciate you, as always. The Great Watubi, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. The Great Watubi writes, Dax Milne actually best game returning today. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Speaking of which, you would have thought Dax Milne was awful today. You would have thought he was the Cowboys punt returner, muffing shit, running backwards, doing dumb shit. He was actually really good today, and they was killing him in the MOBB. Oh, my God, he's so slow. Look, he is what he is. The one thing I told you I appreciate about Dax Milne is he catches the damn ball. He catches the damn ball. And you saw what happened with Dallas, and that's not the first time that Cavante Turpin has dropped the football. That's how the Texans ended up hanging around and almost stealing that game. That is something that is underrated in this league, is just catching the damn football. And I thought he had some good returns. To your point, I thought he had like 2 or 3 really good returns. I don't know what people are looking for. Yeah, I get it. He's not dynamic. You already know what it is. I don't understand what they want. Rob Yu, thank you for the super chat. I greatly appreciate you. Rob Yu writes, hold on, Packers are going for it on 4th and inches. They got to be trying to draw them off sides. This is not a smart decision. They got to be drawing them off sides. He ain't snapping this. Oh, my God, they snapped it. You dummies. Got him. Dumb ass. Stupid as hell. I hope they lose. I'm rooting for Geno Smith to get a shot. Why does number 36 suck in preseason but ball in the regular season? Speaking of Danny Johnson. Well, first of all, Danny was playing in the slot in the preseason, and he was getting cooked. And actually played really well in the slot last year during the regular season. I can't explain what happened to Danny in the offseason and why he wasn't good in the preseason. That's why he got cut. They were really high on Danny Johnson. You know how I feel about Danny Johnson. I had no idea that Danny was this good outside, though. I thought Danny was an inside dude only. But, a lot of times when we do that with corners, these were corners that, I think he went to some small school, might even went to a HBCU. I don't quite remember where he went, but I guarantee you he was a boundary corner wherever he was. To get drafted into the NFL or to be a undrafted guy that ends up making a roster, you got to be the star of that team. So the likelihood is he was an outside corner. Same thing with Jimmy Moreland. We tried to make Jimmy a slot dude. Jimmy was a boundary his entire career with James Madison. We tried to turn him into a nickel because he was smaller, and that really wasn't Jimmy's swag, right? Same thing with Danny Johnson. Clearly, Danny is much more comfortable outside than he is inside, and he's playing his ass off. Really, to the point where I'm like, Kendall Fuller, Benjamin St. Juice, Danny Johnson, add a corner, and I'm feeling damn good about those 4 right there. We still need a nickel. I still feel like you should add 2 corners, and one should be a real nickel. Like our first draft pick, I want a sticky nickel corner. That a dude that played nickel in college and I want them to say, hey, they're getting the best nickel in the draft. That's what I want them to say about our draft pick. And you don't usually have to do that in the first round. Teams aren't looking for nickels in the first round. They're looking for boundaries in the first round. I feel like you can get the best nickel corner in the draft in the second round. That's what I'm really aiming at. The Phillies ace 34. This is another stand-up dude right here, man. Really appreciate you, the Phillies ace 34. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, Louie, you were right. Punks jump up to get beat down. I told you Dak is turnover prone, and there's a chance I can get my flowers for my Eagles. You the best. You deserve it. I think the Lions are going to go ahead and get this field goal back, but that they shouldn't have even been in that position to get the field goal. Green Bay is just doing stupid shit. Let me see if Jared Goff did something dumb just now. Oh, he had an open receiver. He threw it to the wrong guy. Yeah, they're going to tie it up. Yeah, you deserve your flowers, man. You caught this. You said, hey, y'all go out and beat that. And I sat here and I borderline chastised you. And told you there was no way in hell we were beating Dallas. And look, you just take care of business. Don't worry about us. Do what you need to do. I'm gonna just say this. You were over there struggling with the Giants backups. Okay. That shit wasn't pretty. I'm just gonna tell you right now. I was really expecting y'all to tear them out the frame. And if they had Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley, I think you lose today. Just so you know. So you better tighten the hell up. Just telling you that as well. But yeah, you were right. I got to give you credit. Nick Caps, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy, Nick writes, Louie T, I'm glad to see you're a stand-up dude. A win's a win's a win in the National Football League. Absolutely. I'm not turning them down, especially when they come against, like, if the NFL wants, and a lot of you don't even remember when this was a thing, but once upon a time, you didn't play your division in the final week of the season. And that's one of the best things the NFL has ever done is take your division games and make them week 18. Make sure that you're playing a divisional opponent in week 18. I think it's the best thing the NFL has ever done in terms of making changes. If this were Cleveland in week, I wouldn't be excited about this. I'd actually be pissed off that we won and didn't and instead traded draft positioning for a win, a meaningless win. It reminded me of the Jay Gruden finish to the season in 2016. That was Kirk's last. No, it was 2017. I think it was Kirk's last year. We won some meaningless games like against Denver and somebody else, and we ended up getting a 7. And I'm like, bro, we could have been a top 10 pick. Instead, we were picking the same shit we always do. That was the year that what did we take in it? That we were 15th overall, I think. That was the Deron Payne year. We ended up 13. And we could have easily have been like 6 or 7, but we won 2 stupid ass games down the stretch. I just remember the one against Denver in particular. I would have been pissed off if this was an opponent like that, but being that it was Dallas, that it was Dak, and in the fashion that, I mean, he looked awful tonight. We stymied him. I mean, Dak looked like pure shit tonight. I mean, seriously, you couldn't have walked away from that game saying, man, Dak is pure ass. Dakota looks like trash. So doing that to them with him being at the helm, that means something because we've struggled with Dakota. So yeah, I definitely am excited about that one. Trevor Patch, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy Trev writes, got insider info. Scott Turner to be let go Monday. Don't believe a word this guy says, just so you know. Okay. So I don't know. Some of y'all might not know the level of troll that this dude is, but he's next level troll. So don't believe a word that I'm reading right now from Trevor Patch. I continue. Ron tripling down on Wentz because he was his choice. Ron pursuing Frank Reich hard with Dan's blessing to make Ron's decision look right. Good year, mob. So understand none of that is true. Okay. Zero of that super chat is true. All of it is false. All right. And I can't allow Trev to spread falsehoods here on the Louie Tee Network. So understand that Scott Turner isn't going to be fired tomorrow. This team isn't going after Frank Reich. And Ron isn't making any decisions, nor is Dan right now, because Dan isn't going to be here. So trust me, none of that is true. Okay. Now, if that stuff does end up being true, and he's not tripling down. If he were tripling down on Carson, he would have been active tonight. The fact that he was dressed in a, pray for DeMar hoodie says all you need to know. He's done. His time is up in Washington. Yeah, Ron's probably super disappointed in because he made him look like a fool. Carson made him look like a fool. All right. Rob, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Rob writes, Lou, Jahan's route running is elite. He gets open. Does he ever? He's nasty. I just wish he would catch it a little bit more. And he's got tremendous hands. Don't get it twisted. But he's got some drops this year, and I wasn't expecting that. You could blame the 49ers one on the sun. Fine. I'll listen. I ain't trying to hear the shit, but I'll listen. Because I know what it's like. Playing baseball in the outfield, looking up in the sun, trying to catch a fly ball, it's just not easy. I get it. So if you're looking directly into the sun, and you can lose sight of the football. It's not hard to do that. So I'll grant him a pass on that one. There was some jockeying and jostling down the field on the deep ball tonight, but no excuse. He needed to catch that. But boy, is he good. He's going to be a problem. And the beauty is he's just scratching the surface. Him and Sam could do some things. Shit, Terry and Sam could do some things. I don't know if you saw Terry. I think Jahan slowed down a little bit on that deep ball too. Terry had slowed down a little bit as well, but the difference is Terry's faster than Jahan. And Terry turned it up. Like he had another gear. Jahan, I don't think he has that extra gear that Terry has. Like straight line speed, Terry's got another gear, right? That I don't think Jahan has. And he was able to re-accelerate and go get that bitch. Whereas Jahan couldn't turn it back up fast enough to go get that football. But I think those guys could have with that kind of arm and that accuracy down the field. And that's one of the selling points of Sam Howell, even coming out of North Carolina, is he could throw the deep ball. We saw with De'Ami Brown, he was a one-trick pony, which is why I wasn't really all that high on De'Ami coming out of UNC, is because he really only does one thing, but he does it well, and Sam gets it to you. You saw that tonight. Let's see. Christopher McLaughlin, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy Chris writes, hey, Lou, hope all is well with the family. Likewise, Chris. Likewise. What is needed next season to make this defense elite? Personnel, you need a number one corner and a slot cornerback. Linebacker and signing pain. Issues with getting that one stop in a game or offensive red zone issues. To me, personnel-wise, the first thing you have to do this offseason is re-sign Daron Payne. I think that's where everything starts. You don't talk to me Damn, you didn't see him coming? How the hell you ain't see him coming? You got to start with re-signing Payne. I don't want to talk about bringing any outsiders into this organization when you got a stud here that needs to be paid. Take care of your own. It always starts with taking care of your own. I want to see if this is a fumble. He was reaching for that thing. I don't know. You got to show me another angle. I guess he held on to it. Boy, he was swiping at that thing. He was trying to get it out of there. And it's good. So you got to re-sign Payne. To me, that's the first order of business this offseason. Then we can start talking about pursuing players outside of this organization, whether it be from the collegiate ranks or free agents from other teams. Then we can start having those conversations. But take care of your own first. And I think they need to take care of Daron Payne. Write that check. Make that happen. Going Commando. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Going Commando writes, Sly tried his hardest to keep our draft spot. He did. I mean, that's what we were talking about in the MOBB. Like, yo, Joey Sly's holding up his end of the bargain. You know, I don't know if they want to win the game or not, but Joey Sly definitely is doing his best to make sure that, you know, we stay right around the top 10. If some spillage is to occur, Joey's like, I'm going to make sure we get our hands on some of that spillage. He was definitely doing his part. Brandon J. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Brandon J, who writes, our teams mirror each other, Lou. When we need to show up, we don't. But boy, when nothing is on the line, they can beat anyone. Shaking my head. Ain't that the truth? That's got to be one of the most, especially for y'all, because y'all are so talented. Y'all got so much stuff on y'all team. That's why I know it's as painful as it is to be a Commanders fan. To me, there's nothing worse than getting your hopes up and then being let down. They don't give us hope around here. It's rare. That's why this season was frustrating, because they gave us hope. But even to a lesser degree last year, getting the 6-6. But they made sure we knew last year real quick, hey, this ain't it, right? This year was different because we were 7-5, playing good ball, and we just like, yeah, this the year we're going to playoffs. I was talking that crazy shit like, hey, Ron in Carolina started 1-3 and then ended up 12-4. I'm not saying he was on that pace. We started 1-4, and we were on a pace to be like not necessarily 12-5, but 11-6. And then the bottom fell out, and that shit hurt, man. That the Giants game and the Cleveland game, those games hurt. You know, it's disappointing. Y'all do that shit almost every year, though. That's gotta be demoralizing. Every year, y'all either, you know, in the playoffs, get bounced in the first round by a team that you probably should beat, or you don't make the playoffs, but you lose some games that you should have won during the regular season. Either way, with the talent that y'all have on a yearly basis, that's got to be frustrating, man. It's nothing worse than playing down to the level of your competition. We never get to say that around here because we're not good enough to look down our nose at anybody, you know. But yeah, that's got to suck. Yours is on a much larger scale than us, though. You know, we don't play well in big moments, but we don't have a lot of big moments every year. You guys do, which is the part that has to be frustrating as a Cowboys fan. Let's see. Brandon J, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy Brandon J writes, y'all a good QB away. Should go all in on Derek Carr. Nah, you trying to keep us where we at. You try to sabotage us from the outside, Brandon J. I don't want any parts of Derek Carr, man. Derek Carr is a loser. Good locker room dude, solid quarterback. I mean, you can win with Derek Carr, but you got to have an elite, you know, group around him. We don't have that. We're not elite at any one position necessarily, even though I think we're close at receiver, but those guys still have to prove that they're there. You know, Jahan has to stay healthy, and we got to prove that we're elite, an elite group. But I think with Terry, you know, showing out this year, making his first Pro Bowl and showing everybody, yo, I'm legit. Did he get over 1,200 this year? I hope he got over 1,200, man. I'm about to go check real quick. See if Terry made it over the 1,200 mark. Nah, he didn't make it. Damn, he just missed it too. He had 11-17 going into the game today, and he had 74, so that put him at 1185. Damn, if he would have caught that damn third down pass, he probably would have ended up getting about 12 or 13 on that play. He dropped the shit on third down. But anyway, with Terry's emergence, I think emergence isn't the right word. With Terry solidifying that he's elite number one, and Curtis providing, juice as a 2/3. I think he's really a 3 in this offense. I think Jahan's showing what he can do. If he's healthy, he's a legit number 2. I think that's the closest we have to an elite group on the team. Derek Carr, to me, doesn't move the needle. I would like a mobile quarterback. I think Sam Howell would be better for this football team than Derek Carr, but we'll see what they decide to do. We are a quarterback away from being competitive. Are we a quarterback away from winning the Super Bowl? I don't know about that, because we haven't proven that we can win in big spots, So I can't say that. I can say that we are a quarterback away from, being a real factor in the division, in the conference, making the playoffs, all that good stuff. We're definitely a quarterback away. I can say that. I'd agree with you in that regard. Mr. Pink, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Mr. Pink writes, "Hey Lou, gonna be a long off season, or a long offs. Looking forward to your vids. I think Sam should take the team. Taylor is QB2. Draft O-line and a middle linebacker. If the regime stays, we need to do this. HTTR. Least we beat them girls." Well, this regime is staying, so you don't have to throw an if like it's a caveat. They're staying. Ron isn't going to get fired, and I don't think he's going to fire Scott Turner. So just prepare for that next year. That said, I too think that, again, I'm not dismissing getting a quarterback. If I really don't want a veteran retread. There isn't a veteran quarterback that will be available, because Lamar Jackson is not going to be available. There isn't a veteran quarterback that will be available that I am interested in. And they're not interested in Lamar Jackson anyway. He doesn't fit their style of football. That said, if an opportunity to draft a guy that they really like emerges, get him. Sam Howell shouldn't prevent you from doing anything at quarterback if you see fit. That said, if it's not there, you don't love a guy, you shouldn't be reaching. You shouldn't feel as desperate as you did last year to go out and trade for Carson Wentz. You should not feel that kind of heat with Sam Howell here. Instead of wasting money on a veteran that comes in here and stinks it up like Carson did, where you got to cut veterans to fit him under the cap, save that money, reallocate those resources to Payne, Cam Curl, Sweat if you want to bring him back, going out and maybe plugging a few holes that are on the roster from a depth perspective. Maybe you find 1 or 2 starters in the process. But save that money, bring back Heineke, sign him as well, bring back Heineke. And if you want to have a little battle in the offseason, knock yourself out. I wouldn't even have that. Like, Sam's the guy. And you could do the thing you did with Ryan Fitzpatrick when you signed him, where you called it a battle, right? But it was really Ryan Fitzpatrick's job to lose. But I think Sam should have an opportunity. We know what Taylor is. Let's see. Video channel. Thank you for the super chat. I think that's going to be incomplete. Looks like it could be a catch, though, but I think it'll call it incomplete. Yeah. Ball hit the ground. Video channel. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, video channel, writes, Ron going to get too emotional about today's win and keep Scott for next year. He was going to keep Scott anyway. I think today, I think it solidified it for him because we won, and there may be a bit of a rapport there with Scott and Sam and not wanting to take a young quarterback and change up, the coordinator and the verbiage and the playbook and have him to learn something new. There is something to be said about continuity, but I think Ron is going to take all of that into consideration. And I've said this all along. I don't think Ron feels as strongly as we do about the poor choice of play calls. A great example today. Like, this is Scott Turner at his best, right? 3rd and 1. What does he do? To me, if you get in a 3rd and 1, you get in a short yardage situation, you should be going downhill as quickly as possible. I don't want tosses, unless it's a misdirection where you fake the dive and pitch it out. Okay, those win, right? I don't want things that are, this is just a simple sweep or a simple toss, right? Where you're getting out wide and the defense is, first of all, Dallas has too fast of a defense to do that against. It's 3rd and 1. I want a duo. I want to hit it quick. I want to dive. I want something quick. Action up the field. I want guys exploding off the ball. I want power runs. I'm not looking for stretches and zone run and zone blocking. I want power. I want downhill. I want to hit it quick. It's 3rd and 1. He didn't learn from last week. Clearly, this is why I can't rock with Scott Turner, because he never learns from mistakes. He keeps repeating the same shit over and over again. This man ran a toss last week on 4th and 1, and the Browns shut it down and tried to block Myles Garrett with Curtis Samuel, and the shit got blown up, right? 3rd and 1 this week. Jonathan Williams in again. I would prefer it be Jared Patterson personally, and I prefer it downhill. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. This man runs a stretch on 3rd and 1, and Dallas blows that shit up for about a 3-yard loss. And I'm just looking around and I'm saying, you stinking son of a bitch. Oh my God, you suck. Your situational awareness is horrible, and it gets worse by the weeks. I just don't understand. Anyway, I came back to my computer because I was messing with the Twins, and sure enough, they were just killing Scott Turner, as they should. Ron doesn't see it the way we see it, though. Ron will blame the blocking before he blames the play call, or he'll blame the quarterback. And look, there are times where Scott makes a good call and the quarterback just doesn't make the right read or the right throw or isn't accurate. But how many times we get in the red zone today and we had them same stale-ass calls from Scott? Like the pick, Ron had the audacity to tell Aaron Andrews, the sideline reporter, that Sam's made that throw a million times, and he should have just, instead of him trying to lay it in there, he should have just thrown it flatter towards the pylon. And I'm like, bro, that was triple coverage. I don't give a shit where he threw that ball. It wasn't getting completed. That was a bad read, but more importantly, that was a bad concept. That was a bad concept. We don't run good concepts. Guys aren't running wide open in the red zone for us. We never set shit up. We never execute, where we running picks or anything down there. It's always just one-on-one, and it's just tough down there. It stinks. Scott Turner stinks. It stinks. He was keeping Scott regardless. Today kind of probably was the final, nail in the coffin, or I shouldn't say nail in the coffin. It was probably more of the icing on the cake, if you will. Luck, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, long live Dan Snyder. I'm hoping this was his last go round right here. That's the hope, but you never know. DJ 23, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Who writes, the line looked better without Norwell and Turner played. He started at right guard. Norwell was the one that I told you Trey Turner played better after he came back from the initial injury. He didn't look as bad as Norwell. Norwell can't move. The difference between the two is he was able to stay relatively healthy for much of the season. Norwell was, he was able to play through injury. Trey Turner wasn't able to do so, but when Turner came back, he wasn't as bad, but he's still, you can upgrade that position. He's not like, if they think they, are fine at guard, they got another thing coming. They need to upgrade both of those guard positions. Really, all three of the interior offensive line spots, I think, could use a facelift. Hell, I wouldn't even be opposed to them, taking a tackle. I mean, I think Cosme just needs to stay healthy so he can continue to get work. I think he could work at right tackle. And we could use an upgrade over Leno, but that's not a problem right now. If it's not broke, you don't need to fix it. We'll need to fix that eventually, but right now it's not a dire need, not like the interior of the offensive line is. J Mart, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy, J Mart, writes, do we wake up to some firings tomorrow? Nope. I mean, maybe around the league. Like, I don't understand how Lovie Smith is on the hot seat in Houston, but okay, fine, whatever. But if you're talking specifically Washington, nah, you ain't waking up to a damn thing other than exit meetings. Like, you're going to hear from all the players. You're going to hear from some of the coaches. But there ain't gonna be no firings tomorrow, not out of Washington. That's for damn sure. Will Morales, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, Louie, the future is here. I am way hopeful. I am way hopeful. I think that was supposed to be, I am way hopeful. I don't know what that is. Just prove that the staff is inept. Youngins came to play. That's a bad play call on the interception. Scotty trying to get too cute. He is a momentum assassin. Hashtag HTTC. Aiden Hutchinson out here having a ball game. This one might come back. We could have a flag in the secondary. Hold on. Let's see what they call here. Rodgers is getting molested by Aiden Hutchinson tonight, though. Holding offense. So, yeah, that's going to stand. Go ahead and decline that. Aiden Hutchinson is going to work. Speaking of Aiden Hutchinson going to work, a lot of people were, especially in the mob, were getting on Chase. I don't know what y'all were expecting from Chase coming back from the injury. You're not going to see Chase Young be Chase Young until next year, whatever that is. I mean, he could still be the same Chase Young, not getting to the quarterback, next year. But he'll lose the knee brace. He'll be more confident, and I think he'll be better off next year, than he was in these final, 3 weeks or so that you saw him. So just understand what he is right now. He was everything that I thought he would be. Sound against the run, vocal leader, bull rush, but not much else. But I wasn't expecting a lot else from him. So I think some of y'all had these false ideas of grandeur of what he was going to be when he came back. And I told y'all, I prepared y'all for this. Don't look for Chase Young to be beating dudes and turning the corner. I thought Tez looked good today. He almost had a sack on that. That was a good escape by that to run and pick up that. That was on the touchdown drive. So this staff is inept. And the fact that we saw the youngins out there running around having fun, I'm not telling you that all of these young boys needed to be getting reps all season long, but there were some of them. Like, I never understood how there was never a role for Khaleke Hudson on this team. As a blitzer, as a coverage guy, I just never understood how. I remember him playing in the absence of Cole Holcomb 2 years ago. And it was against, I want to say, Seattle. Cole Holcomb was out of that game. That's the Dwayne game where started slow in the first half, had a hell of a second half, got the football, took us down the field, and had a chance down 20-15 because Dustin Hopkins missed an extra point, so we had to go for 2 and we didn't get it. And we, instead of us needing a field goal and we had gotten in the field goal range, we needed a touchdown. And then all of our offensive linemen got hurt like at the same time, and Dwayne ended up getting sacked, and then we didn't have a chance. But in that game, Khaleke Hudson got the start and had like 18 tackles. And I'm like, yo, this dude can play, man. What the F? They refused to put him on the field. And again, I'm not at practice. I don't see what they see every day, but I know what I saw today. And what I saw confirmed to me, like, why is he not getting some run? It'd be one thing, like, you heard the telecast. Greg Olsen was talking about, them talking about De'Ami Brown and how he would have been getting more opportunities if the 3 guys in front of him weren't so good. That ain't the case at linebacker. That ain't the case at linebacker. So why is he not playing? Help me understand. Make it make sense. Because the math ain't mathing. I don't get it. Scott Turner's ass. A1 93. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for this. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Who writes, what up, Lou? What's up, A1? Sam looked good at times tonight. I wouldn't mind if we took a serious look at him next season. Dallas fans were pissed at the stadium tonight, as they should have been. It ain't nothing better than playing a road game and shutting up the crowd. It's nothing sweeter than that. After all the Dallas fans left, we were out there chanting, na, 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 hey, goodbye. We were chanting and shit. That ain't nothing like when you take over an opposing team stadium after all the home fans leave, and you take over that bitch and you're all still there, and all the fans come down to the lower bowl and they start making their presence felt. That was a great feeling, man. Today was a good day. Today was a good day. I wouldn't mind taking a nice hard look at Sam next year either. Again, I'm not bypassing an opportunity to get a youngin'. But if that doesn't arise, if that opportunity does not present itself, I don't want any retreads. I don't want Jimmy G. I don't want Derek Carr. I don't want any of those dudes. If you can't get your hands on a youngin' that you love, not like, love, let's roll with Sam and Taylor next year. What's wrong with that? Rob, don't tell me you had a second grade on Sam Howell and you get him in the 5th and it's a steal and you don't want to play him. That's all I'm saying. Rob, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Rob, writes, thoughts on Chris Paul's play at left guard? I thought he was okay. I wasn't blown away by him at all. Flea flicker. Got him. He gone. That's the rookie. He gone. Come on. Oh, it's a flag. Please be on Green Bay. Bring it back. Ah, that hurts. Sometimes it ain't your night. That's a brutal one there. That one hurts. I wasn't blown away by Chris Paul tonight. He was okay. But again, much like Sam, I'm not going to evaluate him on one game and throw him by the wayside because of one performance. I thought he was okay. He wasn't terrible tonight. I didn't think he was great. I'll watch the tape though, and I'll have a definitive feel for how he played. But I caught myself watching him throughout the course of the game. I thought he was okay. I was hoping he would generate a little bit more movement in the run game. He did not. But okay, I see you getting that first down, though. But as far as, pass block, I thought he actually was pretty solid as a pass protector tonight. I was impressed with him there. But as a run blocker, he didn't move the needle for me tonight. But again, I'll watch the film and see. But I think it's going to confirm what I already feel. But we'll see what happens. He could be a starter for us, though. We'll see. Because a lot of you, I need to embed this in your mind, in your brain. A lot of you think that we're going to go out here and get 3-4 offensive linemen in one offseason. That they're not revamping this line. You think the line is more broken than they do. Ron told you after the 49ers game, I don't think the line is as bad as y'all think it is. So again, the way we view things and the way they view things are totally different. So I think they're going to be looking to get Chase Roullier back, right? Which I'm like, hey, I don't trust him no more. Him or Tyler Larson. Neither one of them can stay healthy. But I think they're going to be looking to get him back next year. So they may not do anything at center. At guard, I think you're going to see them draft a guard. I do feel that they're going to draft at least one guard, bare minimum. I think you probably need 2 interior offensive linemen. One that is a center guard combo, and then one that's just a pure guard. But we'll see what they decide to do. Just warning y'all right now. Don't think that we're going to have 3-4 new offensive linemen next year, because I don't think that's what they're going to do, personally. But we'll see. Chauncey Davis, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Triple OG, thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, Herbert, Mahomes, Allen all had subpar first years. Yeah, I mean, nobody is debating. Wait, did you say Mahomes? Because Mahomes wasn't subpar in his first year. Herbert won Rookie of the Year in his first year. I don't know where you getting these. Oh no, Jared, don't put it on the ground. I don't know where you getting this information from, but Herbert and Mahomes did not struggle in their first years. Mahomes' first year as a starter, he took the Chiefs to the AFC Championship game, and Justin Herbert won AFC Rookie of the Year. Or I think he won NFL Rookie of the Year because Burrow got hurt. And Allen did struggle in his first season. So, again, I don't know where you got that information from, Triple OG, but you might want to look at that again. Strider. Hold on, we got a 3rd and 6. And they ran it. Oh, what a good run. Oh, that's nice. This dude, this offensive coordinator for the Lions, a lot of y'all have brought him up as a coaching possibility. Johnson. Ben Johnson. Hey man, this dude he's something else, man. This is a good ass play call here on a 3rd and 6. Packers give you a light box and they run it. Caught him sleeping, boy. Caught him napping inside. That's gorgeous. We're not firing Ron, so I told y'all stop salivating over these coaching prospects. Stop salivating over Ben Johnson in Detroit. Stop salivating over the 49ers. Defensive coordinator DeMeco Ryan. Stop salivating over these dudes, because we're not firing Ron Rivera. Strider, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, is Howell promising? Scott still called a poor game. Wanted to see Howell throw it more. Still need to draft a franchise QB. I think he's promising. I think, so here's the thing with Taylor Heinicke, right? We all like Heinicke. We don't love Heinicke. Why don't we love him? Because he's turnover prone, he's too small, and his arm isn't big enough. Those are the biggest complaints. He turns it over too much, he's too small, and his arm isn't big enough. Well, Sam Howell has the potential, and I think you could add to the Heinicke complaint file that he doesn't run enough, which didn't used to be, a part of his complaint file, but it is now. I think Sam Howell checks every single one of those boxes. Nope, he's not 6'4", but he's thicker than Taylor Heinicke. So he can withstand more punishment than Heinicke can, right? So he's bigger than him, all right? Not taller, but he's bigger than him. Much bigger arm. We can all identify that, all right? Those are beautiful deep ball, something that Heinicke does not do. And then The turnovers, that remains to be seen. That's the thing that we can't identify because it's such a small sample size. In order to be able to say that he doesn't turn it over, we'd have to give him a full season and see what he does with the football. But in that regard, if that's the only thing right now that's stopping you from giving him an opportunity, then you should give him an opportunity. If the one thing is, hey, we need to see more to see if he can take care of the football because we know he can make all the throws. Okay, well, then let's see it. I've already said this. If there's an opportunity to draft a quarterback that arises, you should take it. Sam Howell should not preclude you from taking a quarterback. But it should stop you from wasting money and resources on a veteran stopgap that you think can come in here and change the game. They missed a field goal. So, yeah. He is promising to me. Scott did still call a poor game. It was almost like they were trying to protect Sam Howell. And I'm like, protect him for what? What are we protecting him for? I'm not telling you don't run the football on any snaps. That's not what I'm saying. I bet you we ran the football 40 times tonight, and he only threw it 19. Let's go see how many runs we had. We ran the football 41 times. I knew it. 41 times tonight, and he threw it 19. That's too big of a discrepancy. It was unnecessary. You were protecting him way too much, and it was unnecessary. We needed to see more. So that was the part that was frustrating to me. Aubrey 44. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Aubrey writes, if our quarterback and coaches don't get in our way, we would be a lot for the playoffs next year. I mean, you could have said that about this year, but that's the nature of the NFL. We're not alone in that assessment. You go talk to 2/3 of the league this year, the teams that aren't making the playoffs, and there's 18 teams that don't make the playoffs every year now with this 14-team playoff format. There's 18 teams that don't make it. Of the 18, probably 10 of those teams would tell you with better coaching and better play at quarterback, we would have been in the playoffs. Probably about 6 to 8 of them, they just sucked. It really wouldn't have mattered for them. They weren't good enough. But probably 10 to 12 teams would tell you, bro, with better coaching and better quarterback play, are you serious? The Titans, I mean, I'm watching the Titans every week, and I'm saying better quarterback play. If Ryan Tannehill doesn't get hurt, with their defense and Derrick Henry's ability to run the football and what they get out of Mike Vrabel, are you kidding me? Better quarterback play. They win some games this year. You know, Ryan Tannehill plays against the Chiefs. I think they beat the Chiefs. Ryan Tannehill plays against the Texans the second time. They beat the Texans. That's probably good enough for them to win the division. And we can go down the list of teams that probably feel the same way. So we're not alone in that. But to your point, that's not far-fetched. Brandon J, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Brandon writes, sometimes a veteran quarterback can change things for a franchise with the right coach. Look at Geno Smith in Seattle. Y'all got a damn good roster, but QB is a question. Here's the difference, though. Geno Smith has been in that offense with Seattle for at least the last 4 years. He's comfortable in that environment. They did recently switch coordinators like 2 years ago, but he's comfortable in that environment, in that setting. He knows the players. He knows the coaching staff. They know his strengths. They know his weaknesses. And he knows the offense. He's been in that offense for multiple years. So that's a totally different scenario. That's not an apples to apples comparison to what we have. We would be bringing a guy from the outside into our organization. They'd have to learn an offense that's not quarterback friendly. We've already had multiple quarterbacks that have played in the offense say that it's not a quarterback friendly offense. We've had people on the outside that know offensive football say it's not a quarterback friendly offense. I, as an outsider, as a lay fan, I'm not a lay fan, but can look at the offense and tell you it's not quarterback friendly. So having an outsider come in here, pick up this playbook, and come in and have to execute isn't ideal. You're right. Tom Brady goes to Tampa Bay, they win a Super Bowl. Matthew Stafford goes to the Rams, they win a Super Bowl. You get the right quarterback with the right, coaching staff, and yeah, magic can happen. That ain't what's happening here. I assure you of that. It ain't what's happening here. All right. Got a super chat here from the great Watubi. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Great Watubi. Writes, let's get rid of the Turner special plays. You talking about that Curtis Samuel reverse that, we had all that different movement, action, and then he loses like 5 yards on the play. Yeah. How about the Amani Rodgers coming in motion, almost runs into Sam Howell. Howell then tries to fake it to John Bates, which we know John Bates. I was listening to Greg Olsen, who he said, looks like he was faking it to Bates. No, he's not faking the ball to John. We're not handing the ball to John Bates. That play was dead from the time that snap took place. That shit was all out of sorts. Discombobulation all over the place. I'm over Scott Turner, man. Christopher McLaughlin, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Chris, double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, hey, Lou, what 3 areas on offense would you focus on to help become more prolific and why? Personnel, upgrading 2 guards and center, red zone efficiency, running the offense through the wide receivers. Question mark. I mean, you pretty much answered your own question. Obviously, it starts on the offensive line. As much as we want to talk about quarterback, if it don't matter who's playing quarterback, we can have Aaron Rodgers. If we don't protect whomever that guy is under center, it doesn't matter who he is. If we brought in Tom Brady next year, if he isn't comfortable, we're not getting the best we can out of Tom Brady, and that's just what it is. We have to protect whomever's playing quarterback for us. So offensive line is a necessity, and I think if you're talking about offensive improvements, after quarterback is huge. I don't want to understate that. I think it's 1A, 1B for this team, because if we would have got better protection for Heineke this year, I think that he would have been able to produce better results for us. Same with Carson Wentz. Same for Carson Wentz. We get better protection for him. He showed us glimpses of what he could do if we would have just protected him better. But once he saw that he wasn't going to be protected here, he lost his shit. He turned into a lesser version of himself, a reduced version of himself. It was hard to watch, because at a bare minimum, like at his best, in our most hopeful scenario would have been he turned back into the 2017 Carson Wentz, which I wasn't banking on that. I just wanted the Carson Wentz from Indianapolis last year. That would have been plenty. We said this all offseason. If he gives us the performance he gave the Indianapolis Colts last year, we're going to the playoffs. Does anybody think that wouldn't have rung true this season? If he would have given us 27-7, are we not a playoff team? Because none of our quarterbacks have even come close to 20 touchdown passes. I think Heineke had like 15. Led us with 15. 27? If 27? So offensive line is 1A, 1B with the quarterback. Another improvement would be we have to get the tight ends more involved offensively. Like, our tight ends were pretty much non-existent this year. Like, they weren't even a part of the offense for real. Like, you can't be an explosive and dynamic football team and your tight end isn't a part of the plan, the game plan. Like, we have to get more out of that position. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And then lastly, I I would say that the offense, I don't want to say the offense runs through the receivers, but I would like to see us not be so predictable on early downs. I'd like to see us throw the football more. Like today was the epitome of predictability. Like run on first down. Like I can't tell you, we might have had 17 first down calls in this game, right? 17 times where we snapped the ball on first down. That's probably low. I'd say we had 24 times that we snapped the ball on first down. Sam Howell snapped the ball. Of the 24 times we snapped the ball on first down, I bet you 22 of them were runs, if not 23. They weren't all runs. We threw it on first down once or twice. But I'd say no more than 21, no less than 21 rather, were runs. You got to be better than that shit. And I get that you were trying to protect Sam Howell, but even when Heineke was in there, it's run, pass. Run, pass. So, yeah. I don't know if we have to necessarily run the offense through the receivers, but I think we need to be more aggressive on early downs. I do feel that way. Like Scott Turner is so predictable because you get us in like we had too many men down the field on a play, right? And it was 1st and 15. And then we had a nice little chunk gain that was called back due to that penalty. And I said, I bet you he's going to try to run the football. Instead of trying to throw and get 6 or 7 here and make it 2nd and, 8 or 6, 9 or 8 or 7. And then you could run it and get 3 or 4 and make it 3rd and, 6, 5 or 4. I said, I bet you he runs it here and we don't get shit. We ran it and we got 1 yard. It was 2nd and 14. I'm like, you get on my nerves, man. He's so like, that shouldn't be our offense. So I would be more aggressive on early downs. That will be my third thing. Rocky D, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Rocky D writes, "Sup, fellow Monarch? What's going on with you? We ended the season as mediocre, 8-1. That's as mediocre as it gets, right? That's the definition of mediocre. That's average, right? 500. Season is over. What's next? Draft, QB talk, ODU basketball talk from you in the future? I'm new to your show. What do you do in the offseason?" I do the same thing that I've been doing all season long. It's just the offseason, so we turn our attention to the draft, but it's much of the same. It ain't, you may get more, recorded and local shows, which aren't of the live variety where, editing takes place, things of that nature. Like, for instance, Come Correct. You may get some of those types of shows, but for the most part, it's still football, right? You're still getting the podcast, going to get draft talk, going to get, this will be the last week for Commanders Nightly News. That goes away. But we'll transition back to the Command Post, right? So it's not an everyday show, but when news breaks or, the spirit hits me, you'll get a Command Post episode. Most of those are local uploads, just like the Commanders Nightly News was. Then you get a live show every week, just like you did with the Commanders Nightly News once a week. Now that the regular season is over, we go back to Thursday nights live. We, during the season, because there's a Thursday night football game, we slide to the Wednesday slot. Now we can slide back to the Thursday slot. So, fumble, ball on the turf. Lions have it. That's a big turnover there, because if they get points there, the Lions are in trouble. So yeah, I'm not talking ODU sports on this channel. I keep up with it. I see what they're doing, but I'm not talking, Old Dominion basketball on this channel. I might hit a game or two. Me and my dad might go check a game or two out. I try to go to a game with him once a year if at all possible, but you ain't gonna hear about it on this channel. J Mark, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, "There were talks of 4 and 14 both playing." There were, and understand that if 4 didn't go to upper management and tell them, or to Ron and company and say, nah, let Sam have it, we would have gotten Heineke in this game as the starter, and Sam would have been, in there, sparingly. They might have put together a little package for him. But luckily enough, Taylor was like, nah, y'all ain't going to use me. Y'all had an opportunity to try to get to the playoffs and let me play. Y'all gave the shit to Carson, and then you didn't even have the balls to bench him once you saw that he was ass, and you let us rot in the game against the Browns. Don't try to come to me now and, like, or as Big Sean said, he said, don't get no dap to me. Like, don't try to give me no dap now. Hey, Taylor, what's up, man? Hey, yo. Shit was crazy last week, right? Yeah, man. I'm saying. So, we just think about starting you this week, man. What you think about that? I think y'all should start Sam. Don't give no dap to me. Shit. So, yeah, there was some talk about that, but Taylor, luckily enough for us, he's a G. And I told you that was his last ultra move of the season. Hopefully it's not his last ultra move as a Commander, but it was his last ultra move of the season, and it was a big one because we got to see what 14 was capable of doing, or at least a sampler of Sam. Going Commando, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Going Commando writes, wanted to lose for the draft spot, but now thinking 8-1, and that performance leaves a good last impression for free agents, if any, after resignings. Nobody cares about the win this week. That doesn't, free agents are going to go, oh, but they did beat Dallas. Oh, they killed Dallas in week 18. We should sign there. That they don't care about that shit. We could have been 7-9-1, and we'll get the same free agents that we would have gotten at 8-1. That shit doesn't move the needle. The only thing that this does, that win was for us as fans. That win was for the people in the locker room, those players that prepare, those coaches that prepare. Let's see. Did he touch this ball out of bounds? Nope. He does not. He is inbounds. That is a big turnover. All right. So, yeah, that shit ain't going to have no impact on getting free agents. That win was for us as fans. For the entire offseason, we get to talk shit to Cowboys fans, right? They didn't sweep us. Because I told you on Friday, when I did the show, I said, or it might have been Thursday when we were live, I said, man, the thing that sucks about this game is they're going to wallop us, right? They are going to smash us. And it don't matter that we ain't had shit to play for and we had half our squad out. They don't care nothing about that. They are going to rub that shit in our face. Now, we don't got to worry about that. We get to talk shit to Cowboys fans. Because even though they're going to the playoffs, they ain't winning shit, not playing the way they played against us. They ain't winning a damn thing. They'll be on the couch at the same time as the Giants. Shit, the Giants might stay in the playoffs a week longer than them. We'll see. But what this does is it showed that maybe Sam Howell can be the starter. At least it gives you an opportunity to say, hey, we don't have to be desperate this offseason. I don't like when we're desperate. We were desperate this last offseason. In 2020, we weren't desperate. I told y'all last offseason, I said Ron is desperate. Remember I told y'all that? I said Ron is out here campaigning, trying to recruit the likes of Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers. He's out here thirst trapping. Ron is out here being nasty in these streets. This man is running a full-blown campaign, spending all kinds of dollars to promote the Washington Commanders. He was at the Combine talking. He did the ESPN, circuit like 2 or 3 times in the offseason. I said, Ron, this shit is nasty, man. I need a bath. This shit feels filthy. We were desperate, man. We were on the streets at night, asking cars if you're looking for a good time that had QBs in them. It was pretty damn disgusting. I knew we were going to do something. I didn't know what, but we were desperate last year. I told you, I said, Ron's desperate, man. He's in these streets heavy. And he went and got Carson. That was a desperate move. I don't like being desperate because desperation gets you the shit that we got last year. I think Sam allows you to not be desperate. And I said that when we drafted him. I said, if nothing else, hopefully Sam Howell allows us to not have to reach. You go back in the archives and you'll see me, you'll hear me say this. Hopefully Sam Howell allows us to not have to reach for a quarterback in next year's draft. If we don't think that one exists where we are that we love. You don't have to do anything egregious. You don't have to go after a quarterback like Jimmy Garoppolo or Derek Carr or any of that stuff. You don't have to do any of that stuff if you don't see fit. My worry is they're going to see fit and go after a Jimmy Garoppolo because the report was, word out on the street was, they wanted Jimmy. That's when Ron got all sensitive and talked about, I did the work on Carson. I watched all of that film. I signed off on that. Yeah, but the reason you got so emotional, like Carl Thomas, is because you really did want Jimmy Garoppolo. And you were less upset about what was said, but more upset about the fact that it came out. Because now you got to explain to Carson that, hey, bro, you really want my first choice. Anyway, I digress. Cypress Keith, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Cypress Keith writes, this win was hard to watch, Lou. I knew we were going to play to our fullest potential. Seeing the Packers, Seahawks, and Giants make the playoffs, and we are better than all three of them, is so nerve-wracking. Well, all of them aren't going to make the playoffs. Okay, only one of those two of those three teams going to make the playoffs. Packers or the Seahawks will make it, and the Giants are going to make it. So 2 out of those 3 teams will make it. But to your point, I can't say that we're better than the Lions because not only did they beat us, but they scored points and they're well coached. I don't think we're better than the Lions. I do think we're better than Seattle, and I do think we're better than the Giants. But again, both of those teams are better coached than we are. And all 3 of those teams, it's crazy to say this because we weren't saying this shit before the season started. All 3 of those teams have stability at the quarterback position, which we lacked. Geno Smith stabilized the Seahawks quarterback situation. We thought they were going to be a mess this year with all the young players and all the turnover on the roster, and Geno Smith stabilized that shit. Jared Goff stabilized the Lions offense. Daniel Jones, oh my God, Daniel Jones, who did not have his 5th-year option picked up, rightfully so, I may add, stabilized the Giants offense. All of this was done with proper coaching. So, yeah, it is frustration. It's definitely frustrating to watch everything unfold. And then to watch how we played today and to know we were just 1 win away from making the playoffs. Just 1. And it, I said I wasn't going to do this, but I said this in the moment. I said, I hope that we don't look back on the Titans game, the Vikings game, and you say, damn, we missed it by 1 game. Those are the 2 that stick out like a sore thumb. Those 2 games are the ones where you say, we should have won those games. And if you win one of those 2 games, you're in the playoffs. We're not having this discussion right now. But that's how fine of a line it is in the NFL. That's how fine of a line it is. Terry, Chauncey Davis, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Triple OG, who writes, Terry and Jahan like Sam. I mean, maybe they do. I know they have a affinity for him, but I can't say that they're like head over heels for him. Like they love their quarterback. Like, what are they supposed to do? They had 3 different quarterbacks this year. And Terry in his career, this is Jahan's introduction to the dysfunction of this organization. Jahan just got here and he's already played with 3 different starting quarterbacks. Terry's like, this ain't nothing but Tuesday for me, bro. I do this shit every year with this team. I done had at least 3 starters in just about every year of my career here, man. What you saying? So, like, of course, Terry is used to, all right, we put another dude in. All right, I'm going to have to find a way to rock with him. Maybe they really do. I think Terry, like, appreciates that Sam is young, that we may be able to grow with him. And Sam throws a very catchable ball. Like, every ball that Sam threw tonight, for the most part, like, they were in stride. Like, we don't get that shit very often, right? Like, balls in stride, on the money. That's a big personal foul. That makes it a nice, easy chip shot field goal, especially after the miss earlier. He needed to be closer. Let's see what he did. Oh, he probably went up there and tried to, yeah. Oh, he was doing stupid stuff. Yeah, that was ignorant, man. What are you doing, Rasul? And then had a nerve to mush the dude after he did some stupid shit. Hey, Rasul Douglas he's a damn fool for that. He knew they were calling the timeout, so he went up there and did dumb shit. And it cost him 3 points. Oh man. You gotta love ignorance at its finest. Anyway, I digress. Rasul, you ain't shit for that. I think they like the fact that he can get them the ball, but if I'm Terry, I'm not getting attached to anybody because we know here 1 second, not starting the next. So we'll see. Jahan is a puppy. He don't know no better. Terry's like, bro, I ain't even tripping because I've been here before. I done seen at least 12 different starting quarterbacks since I've been here. I mean, let's try to name them all. Terry got here in 19. In 19, there was Case Keenum started the season. There was Dwayne. I think that was it. It was Case and Dwayne, and I think that was it. I feel pretty confident that was it. Case started the entire season until he got hurt. They pulled him for that Giants game when Dwayne wet the bed, and Jay got killed for that, which was stupid, but whatever. They put Case back in. He was awful, and then they finally benched him. And Jay got fired, and they benched him and put in Dwayne. So it's 2 in 2019. In 2020, you had Dwayne first. Then there was Kyle Allen. Then there was Alex Smith. And then there was Taylor Heineke. So it was 4 starters in 2020. So that's 6 total for Terry in 2 years. In 2021, it started out with Fitz. So that's 7. Then it went to Heineke. Then there was Garrett Gilbert. So that's 8 for Terry. Then it went back to Heineke, and he finished up. So 8 for Terry total through 2021. And then this year it was Heineke. Then it was Wentz first. Then it was Heineke. So that's 9. And then Sam Howell makes it 10. That's some shit, man. Terry been in the league 4 years, and he's already had 10 starting quarterbacks. That's some bullshit, man, which is why I can't sit here with a straight face and tell you that Terry's like, yo, I love this dude. And you didn't use the word love. You said like. But, I mean, you're going to rock with whoever's in there, right? You don't have no choice. But if I'm Terry, I got my guards up. I'm like, okay, it's a cup of tea for this dude. They might go in a different direction and bring in Derek Carr next year. I don't know what the hell they're going to do. But how can you go into the offseason saying, yo, Sam is the truth? He the real deal. He should be the dude. Because you don't know what the hell they're going to do. This organization don't know what the hell they're going to do. We don't know what the hell they're going to do. Charles Willard, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Charles writes, I'm worried about Chase. Will he ever return to his rookie form? We don't know that answer, right? We don't know. But what you shouldn't be worried about is what you've seen from him this year. Take what you've seen from him this year with a grain of salt. That's all I can tell you is the man is coming back from not a regular ACL. This man had a ruptured patella tendon as well. Like, there was some serious damage done in that knee. It's a lot going on. Kneecap, everything, all that shit busted up. So understand that this was a hell of a road back for him. And I think he'll be fine next year. We'll see what happens. Derek B, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, no reliable starter or a backup O-lineman drafted in 3 years. Sam Cosmi? You said reliable. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Touche. Cosmi hasn't been reliable. So to that point, you're right. Yep. But remember, that was one of the problems. We hadn't drafted an offensive line. We hadn't drafted it in quite some time. A lot of the guys we drafted back into the draft, like Chris Paul, like Chase Roullier, 5th, 6th, 7th round dudes, and you try to develop them. And but we haven't even been doing that really at a high level. So yeah, I mean, you look at the starters on this football team, 4 out of the 5 starters, 3 out of the 5 starters rather, free agent acquisitions. Chase Roullier just got the deal, and he hasn't really been right since. Injuries each of the last 2 years that have shortened his season. And then Sam Cosmi hasn't stayed healthy. And so we've gotten a lot of Cornelius Lucas, another free agent pickup. So you're right. I think investments need to be made. It's not sexy because who likes talking about offensive linemen? That shit ain't sexy when you could be talking about a wide receiver, a corner, a running back, a tight end, all that. That's the sexy shit. Like quarterback. Yeah. Nobody likes talking about defensive tackles and offensive linemen, but I think we really have to pay attention to that in this particular draft. I'm not looking to draft a center in the first round. That's not my thing. I have a philosophy with certain positions and where I'm willing to draft them. Center is one of those. I'm not willing to spend the first round pick on a center. I'm not willing to do that. But you tell me there's a guard there, I'm willing to pull the trigger on an elite guard for sure. Cypress Keith, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Cypress Keith, who writes, Lou, thank you for keeping our hopes up this season. You're the real MVP, by the way. No, y'all are the real MVP by continuing to support like you always do. Without y'all, none of this exists, and I can't thank you guys enough. As I said during the New Year's celebratory shot, and I've told you guys this multiple times throughout the course of the year, but this doesn't exist without y'all. So I really appreciate y'all for sure. J Mart, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. J Mart, who writes, "Sup, LT? Really tough. Beat Dallas and Philly, but lose to New York. It's like that every time. So in 2020, remember, we swept Dallas, we swept Philly, we lost to the Giants twice. And if we beat the Giants, then we don't beat Philly in New York. It happens like we don't ever put all of the pieces of the puzzle together. So last year, remember, swept by Philadelphia, swept by Dallas, but we beat the Giants twice last year. Like, that's the shit that we do. If we beat Dallas and Philly, then we don't beat the Giants. It's crazy. Like 2020, we swept both teams. We lost to the Giants twice. 2021, we sweep the Giants, but then we get swept by both Dallas and Philadelphia. Like, it's stupid, man. It doesn't make any sense. And then this year, we beat Dallas and Philadelphia, but we lose to the Giants and tie them the other game. It's ridiculous. But again, that's our MO. That's how we operate. Got a super here from B-Hat. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. B-Hat writes, what do we think guys are we giving Ron another shot? Ron's getting another shot. It's not whether we wanted to give him a shot or not, because a lot of us would prefer we go in a different direction. He's coming back. It's just a matter of if the entire staff is going to be back with him, which I think it is. Derek B, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, Turner OC points ranked 20, 25, 23, 25. He is an OC coach. A QC coach, excuse me, quality control coach. I've already said this. You know, you're judged as an offensive coordinator by your ability to convert on third downs and how and really how you set that up is your play calling on the early downs, first and second down, will put you in a position to be your best version of yourself on third downs. But he didn't do that. Or he hasn't done that since 2020. And then how you perform in the red zone. To me, that's how you're judged as an offensive coordinator. And we clearly know he isn't great in the red zone. Corey Benton Jr., thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for the super chat. Corey Benton. I'll read this comment right here. Do you think there will be a quarterback battle between Taylor and Sam? And where is Carson after this? Carson is done. Carson's played his last snap in Washington. I think his career might be over. I don't think anybody believes in Carson Wentz, even in a backup role in this league. I think he's done. He's made a lot of money. So don't cry for Carson, but I think he's done. As far as Taylor is concerned, we have to bring him back in order for there to be any competition or, any of that sort. But I think he'll be, if Scott's back, Taylor's back. I've already said this. If Scott is not back, there's a chance that Taylor's not back. But Scott's going to be back, so Taylor's going to be back. That's how I feel. Luck, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, trying to figure out how many extra tickets to order next year for Miss at E. Whoo, Lord, Lou. We can tie the knot in Legends Pizza. I have no idea who you're referring to, but you sound like you saw something you liked. Okay. Charles, the farming guy. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Charles writes, where was this level of play last week? I'm going to add you to the list of people who are asking the same question. I'm at the top of that list, asking that question. Where the hell was this last week when we had a chance to still make the playoffs? But again, that's who we are. That's why this doesn't surprise me, and it shouldn't surprise you for that matter. Corey Benton Jr., thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, QB batter Taylor and Sam, where's Carson in this? We just answered that. I didn't think you felt like your super chat was going to be answered because you did it separate. I took care of that, though. You good. I'm a veteran, so I try to make sure I take care of y'all. Red Wings 01, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Red Wings writes, you're not tripping for liking Patterson over Williams. I did too. Patterson was clearly the more efficient back, was begging Scott to run him more. Okay, that's one. But me and you usually see things on the same wavelength. But I really was like, damn, am I tripping? Because Jared looks good tonight, and he looked more spry. And maybe that's a week 18 thing. He hasn't played all season long. So, yeah, he would have a pep in his step. But I just felt like he looked a little bit more explosive. And I think there is something to that size, hiding behind the line, not being – and he's shifty, man. And there's some nasty jump cuts in there. He finishes very violently and physically. There's a lot more to Jared Patterson than I was giving him credit for last year when a lot of you were all over him. I wasn't. But I liked what I saw tonight. What I saw tonight wasn't what I saw last year. Just telling you right now. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy, Big Money Sonny writes, outside of the Commanders, it was a great year for the Mob and Cherry Squad. Thanks for rocking with us, Lou. Greatly appreciate you. 8 months to go now. It's a long time before we get ball again. I mean, you got to go all the way to your point. You got to get all the way to September before we get meaningful football, and all the way till August until we get preseason ball. So, yeah. It's going to be a while. Strap up. It's going to be a while. Grab a Snickers. I enjoyed y'all, man. Y'all have been so much fun. It's been a great year, as I mentioned already, and I'm looking forward to the future, and I'm definitely looking forward to the off season. Red Wing 01, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Red Wing 01 writes, unless Tua comes back, I'd much rather see Pittsburgh or New England in the offs. But got to hand it to Thompson. He made some big throws despite the stats. Jets can't do anything right. Flacco's got to retire. Damn, me and you, I think you were in my brain, man, because I watched that Jets-Dolphins game today, and I was like, this shit is pathetic, man. The Jets should be ashamed of themselves. That said, Skylar Thompson made some throws. He did. You know, there was one throw late in the game to Waddle where I go. He got a guy draped all over him, down by his legs and shit, and he makes a throw. And I'm like, damn, Skylar, that was some good shit, man. It wasn't pretty, but when they had to have it, they got it. And to your point, I said the same thing. I said, man, I was begging for New England to not infiltrate my playoffs. I'd much rather take the Patriots over the Dolphins. If they don't have at least Teddy Bridgewater back, man, they're gonna really F up our playoffs. That shit that I saw today, you don't want any parts of that. That was pure funk on a whole new level. The rhythm is the bass and the bass is the treble. That's how bad that shit was. You don't want any parts of that. Trust me. I watched, so you didn't have to. I hope you don't have to see that shit for the playoffs, because boy, was that fun. Key. I'm right there with you, bro. Red Wing 01, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, at least Tomlin's record is intact. Man, look, I knew it was going to be intact once the man beat the Ravens. I was like, this dude here, man, he like a damn roach. You just can't kill him. Now he ain't a roach, because you can kill a roach. You know them hard back bugs that you step on and them bastards still keep trucking? I don't know what they call it, but them bitches hard as a mother effer. Like, you can try to squeeze that shit and the legs still be moving. You can't step on it. Not on carpet, at least. You know, you get on something, a hard surface, you got to step hard. But that's how Mike Tomlin's record is. Like, you ain't killing that dude on carpet. You can kill that noise. I thought they were going to make the playoffs. I thought the Dolphins were going to lose, and the Jets had every opportunity to put those boys out of their misery, and they couldn't do it today. JB Johnson, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. JB Johnson. You short anyway, bro. Don't worry. Right. What up, Lou? What up, JB? Don't speak them keeping Scott into existence. LOL. Look, I'm just speaking facts. I'm speaking the truth. I already know what it is. That's why I'm trying to prep y'all and prepare y'all for I said prep y'all and prepare y'all. That's the same thing. I'm trying to prep y'all for the prospects of him being back, because he's gonna be back. I don't think Ron has it in him to fire him. Do your part putting pressure on them firing him. Even analysts are doing their part. And it doesn't matter. You know, the whole crowd booed Carson Wentz simultaneously, chanted Heineke's name, and it didn't move Ron. Now, I will say, we have had some power, if you will, in certain instances, but it's few and far between, and it's fleeting. And this isn't one of those situations where a man's job is on. We can affect. Like, I thought we had something to do with the Heineke, Sam Howell starting. No, Heineke had something to do with that, or else he would have did the stupid ass thing and start Heineke in this game. I think we've had situations where we've shamed them into getting guys involved. Like, oh, Terry didn't touch it this week. Terry touches it a bunch the next week. Oh, Jahan didn't touch it. Jahan touches it a bunch the next week. Oh, J.D. McKissick didn't touch it. J.D. McKissick touches it. I think we've shamed them into doing that, but we're talking about a guy's job, livelihood on the line. I don't see Ron responding to peer pressure, but we'll see. Metaphor, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Metaphor, writes, thank you for being a member of the MOBB as well. Says, I know you wanted that L, but it felt so good to play like this and win. Khalid game ball from Ron. Play the man. I said draft Howell in March. Number 1 is him. Did Khalid really get the game ball in the locker room? Is that a thing? If it is, it's well deserved. I'm upset because I've been pushing the Khalid Hudson narrative. Remember, going into the 2021 season, I asked the question, and I usually do this every year. Who's the one guy that you think is going to be the most improved? Like a guy that we're not necessarily talking about right now, but season's in, we're going to say, oh my God, this guy is huge for us, or he's going to be a difference maker. And I selected Khalid Hudson. I thought he was going to get some run in 2021. After seeing what he did in 2020 in spot duty, I thought they were using him, a little bit more in the offseason, and he was getting work, and they were really starting to see all of the different things he could provide for them with his athleticism, blitzing, and coverage, and things like that. Like, Khalid's going to be that guy. I was wrong. To the point where he didn't even make the team this year. I don't understand why Khalid Hudson consistently gets passed over for opportunities. Doesn't make sense to me. If nothing else, Howell played well enough to at least enter his name in the conversation for next year. And number 1 is him. He did some good things again today. Let me see. I'm still bitching about that drop. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think he should have caught that. But 3 for 72, that's not a bad day's work. Terry 3 for 74, Jahan 3 for 72. Not a bad day's work at all, if I may say so myself. So easily could add a 100-yard receiving day if he catches that deep ball. But it's all good. I do think number 1 is legit. Agent Starface, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Agent Starface writes, Slinging Sam is that guy. Build around him. We'll see. We'll see. I told y'all not to go off the deep end after one game, but we'll see. I'm intrigued. I told y'all that's pretty much was going to be my stance no matter what happened. Intrigued as a backup, intrigued as a starter. I'm intrigued as a starter because of his play. Had he had a lesser game, I would have been intrigued with him as a backup. So I'm intrigued either way. But I want to see him as a starter now. Mutib Khan, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, end of the Snyder era. A season's a win in my book if the sale is official. Likewise, I think every fan would. I told you going into this week, I said, look, we may be out of the playoffs, but if you would have given me a contract that stated we would be, because remember, going into the season, we were still in the mindset of Daniel Snyder's never selling this team. Unless something crazy happens, he's not selling this team. So for us to be at the point where we are now, where we expect a sale at the end of this season into the offseason, that's priceless. You can't put a win total on that. You can't quantify what that means. So I told you I would have taken a contract and signed that we would have a losing season and not make the playoffs. Guaranteed. I would have guaranteed. You could have told me we were going to be 0-17, and I would have signed that. If you said Daniel Snyder's going to sell, though, what do I sign? Right by this X? Give me the pen. So I'm right there with you. Metaphor, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Metaphor writes, I've seen enough. Sam, I am. Small sample, but it's there. I hear you. I hear you. But again, I'm not going off the deep end. I knew y'all would do this, which is why I tried to warn y'all ahead of time. But I did like some of the things I saw, especially his mobility and the deep ball. Those were two things that you couldn't ignore if you watched the game tonight. Bipolar /S197. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, there's hope for next season. Just please find a better play caller. I don't think they're gonna do it, but so you're telling me there's a chance. Dandritz, Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. That's crazy. We had a whole conversation about you not bringing home the dub because, pickle! We gotta make a pay there, Kelvin. Look at that young boy, man. Hey, that Joseph kid out of what is it, Illinois, Kirby Joseph for the Lions at safety. Whoo! That young fella, man, been playing his ass off this year. Man, there was some safeties in last year's draft, man. Andre Cisco, who I wanted, some safeties last year, man. Jesus, that's a good play. Make it, though. You got to catch the ball, man. You about to give up a field goal now. Oh, bad throw from Aaron. Got a decision to make. Dangerous, we sat there. We had a whole conversation about how you weren't bringing home the dub because we stink and Dallas was going to destroy us. But I told you, go have a great time. Go enjoy yourself. He says, begrudgingly brought home the dub. Not once there, definitely wanted to win and felt good singing, na, 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 hey, hey, hey. Goodbye to Dallas fans. Appreciate you, LT. We heard it on television. I already sung that song, talked about you guys doing that to them. You know, it feels good when you're at a road game and the home team's fans, no good. Okay. The Packers trying to lose this game, man. They trying to lose this game. They get them, Detroit. Come on, Geno. Get Geno in the playoffs. It feels good when you're on the road and you're shellacking the opponent and the fans leave and you get to go down to the lower bowl and take over the stadium. And that's what we were able to do today. Felt damn good. And we heard it on television. Darnell Kelly, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Darnell, thank you for being a member of the MOBB, writes, great season, Lou. I enjoyed. It's been 50 ads this stream. I see you. You see what I'm doing over here? You caught me red-handed. You got me. Akon status. I'm locked up. They won't let me out. You got me. He says, I want a center in this draft. A great center can mask deficiencies on the inside, a Pouncey type. If there's one of those, I'll make an exception to the rule. But generally, those guys don't grow on trees. Those game-changing centers that you can have for 12 years and you say, man, this dude is everything. And again, I haven't done my homework on centers, but usually you can find a quality center in the second, third, fourth, even the fifth round. Like that's what we got Chase Roulier. I'm not really hard pressed. But if you stumble upon a guy, then maybe you pull the trigger. I really feel like you don't have to do that in the first round. I'm more thinking like third round is where I'm like, I got to get a center right here. We'll see what they decide to do. All right. Dr. Ice, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. I like that name, Dr. Ice. Writes, Ron has 3 winning seasons out of 12. That's our head coach. You know, when LB said it, it didn't really resonate for me. It didn't hit home. I wasn't like, oh, you know, I that shit didn't bother me. But you know, as you watch some of the chicanery and the buffoonery, then you go, oh, he only got 3 winning seasons in 12 years. Oh, now you see why. Oh, then it all starts to make sense. Then it becomes frustrating. John Cedillo, I knew you would show up today. You're my guy. I knew you was going to show up today. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes, sup, Lou? Sup, John? Says, congrats on the win. Completely embarrassed by this performance by Dallas and all the prior warts come back to a head. Have little to no confidence going into next week. Say hi to boss for me. I will do that. And I won't tell you to have little to no confidence, but I could understand how you could feel that way. I just feel like Tampa Bay is still a mess, even though they won their division. They're still a mess. And you're going to have a chance next week, but you can't be you can't be confident in this team's ability to take care of the ball because you haven't done that in over a month and a half. Like, Dak leads the league in interceptions. He's throwing 1 or 2 every game. You're muffing punts every week or every other week. You're finding and creating ways. Your punter dropped the ball. Nobody touched him, nothing. Great snap. He just dropped the ball. Like, you're creating ways to turn it. Uh-oh, golf up top. Got him. Got him. Can I get in the end zone? At the 1. Lions, boy, I'm trying to tell you. Go do these boys, man. Aaron Rodgers, take his ass home. And if they win, hey, we need to go and get your boy the juice alert. I know I'm gonna go in on his ass because he another one of these losers, right? Where when shit's going bad, quiet. You don't hear from him, you don't see him, you don't hear. It's just crickets. Soon as they up, now he want to come at me. Don't at me now. No, when I was checking for you after we beat y'all sorry ass in week 6, when I was checking for you then, where you was at? Or week 7? Where your ass was at then when I was taking attendance in the classroom? I had to go knock on your door and have a wellness check, have an officer come check for you. Now all of a sudden we out and y'all might win and get in. Now you want to be coming at me and shit? Boy, I hope they lose tonight. He'll go AWOL again. Touchdown. Damn right. Take the lead on a stinking ass. They playing around. I still think the Packers going to win tonight, but they effing around. They could lose tonight too. John, I'm going to just tell you this. You've turned it over so many ways, and you've turned it over for so many consecutive weeks in a row. It's now a problem. I get not having confidence, but I still think you can go to Tampa and win. But this was definitely an embarrassing performance to finish up the season in a game where you tried to establish some things. And look, the Eagles were never blowing out the Giants. They were comfortably ahead at one point, 16-0, but it never got any higher than that. You know, the Giants scored a touchdown, made it 16-6. It got to 22, I think, to 9 or something like that. But they scored a touchdown late, made it 22-15 or whatever. Like, it never was out of hand to where you was like, all right, you sit our guys down. Like, you had a chance and you stunk it up. But like I told Law, you got a chance next week to right your wrongs. Nobody will be talking about this game against Washington if you win next week. They'll only be talking about it if you go out and you lay an egg at Tampa next week. Then they'll start talking about, well, they looked bad against Washington and it's a carryover effect. But I appreciate you standing 10 toes down like always, John. I know I can always count on you. You my guy. Appreciate the super chat. Brandon Shepard, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, my guy. Brandon writes, Branch from Bama is that true nickel. He's a guy that is right there in where we're drafted, right? That corner from Alabama, Branch. That's really, I identify that defensively as the biggest need. A lot of y'all want linebacker. I think they're going to re-sign Cole Holcomb. They do need to add some more depth. I like what I saw out of Khaleke Hudson. I never understood why he couldn't get on the field, but I still think they need to add more depth at linebacker. But to me, nickel corner is our biggest problem right now, defensively. You clean that up, and I think we got something. The Great Watubi, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. The Great Watubi writes, is 8-8-1 a winning season? A tie counts as plus 500. I think you're still at 500. I can go check, right? I can go check the standings real quick and see what the NFL has it as on their site. I'm pretty sure it's 500. Yep, it's 500. 8-8-1 is 500. So yeah, it's 500. Nick Caps, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Nick Caps writes, wow, locker room, Ron and the team are fired up for next year. Hard work is undefeated, And Sam says, let's roll them boys next year. Hashtag Super Bowl wash 2023. Yeah, pump your brakes and drive slow. I mean, the locker room thing might have been cool. Hey, we some losers. We ain't going to the playoffs. I don't want to hear that shit now. But I'm happy for the guys in that locker room, but I still want change. This doesn't change the way that I feel about this staff. And if I could get Ron out of here, I would. Even though they said it on the telecast. Like, you know, Greg Olson played for Ron Rivera for a number of years. He knows Ron intimately. And shit, he probably calls him Chico. Like, what was the linebacker that was here? Thomas Davis did, you know, when he was here. Chico. That's what they called him, right? I mean, if you know him, you know, well enough, that's probably what they call him, right? Get his ass. Yeah, that's right. I appreciate what he did. And even on the telecast, you know, Greg Olson said, you know, Ron was brought here to bring a level of respect to this organization off the football field, which he's done. And I already said, I appreciate Ron for that. Like, that's something that shouldn't go understated. If you want Ron out of here, fine, but make sure you acknowledge the job that he's done in making this a credible organization again. But on the field, the shit is still the same. We're a 7-9 win team. That product hasn't changed. Jay Gruden was a 7-9 win coach. Shit hasn't changed since Ron's gotten here. That's the problem, because Jay Gruden didn't have this talent, not at the end of his tenure. Okay. You know, maybe he did in 2015 and, you know, even in 2016, but even then the defense wasn't any good. It was all offense. But definitely towards the end of Jay's tenure, 17 and 18, he didn't have any talent. And into 19, he was a dead man walking with no talent. That's changed now. We have talent. This shouldn't be a 8-win operation. Even with the quarterback position being in flux, even with offensive line not being, which you created the offensive line being unstable, rather. The instability on the offensive line, you created that by going out, by getting rid of Eric Flowers and not finding a way to retain the services of Brandon Sheriff, but rather replacing them with 2 cheap, old, former Carolina Panthers. Couldn't have projected that the center position was going to be a liability again, but it was. You had 2 injuries again at that position. But anyway, that's cool that they were hyped. I'm not, that shit doesn't move me at all. Not one bit. Mike Leslie, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Mike Leslie writes, as an Eagles fan, I will always say when the Cowboys lose, America wins. Y'all did the NFL a service. Wish I could have seen the whole East in the playoffs this year. I wish I could have seen it as well. I'm glad we didn't finish under 500, so we can say that the entire division finished at or above 500, but it's not good enough. In a year where I thought 11 or 12 wins was possible, but definitely 10 or more was, I thought it to me, for this season to have been a success, it had to be 10 or more. So even if we would have gotten in at 9 and made the playoffs, I would have been cool with that. And I would have rejoiced and I would have celebrated that. But I would have still told y'all, I'm disappointed that we didn't win 10 games. This was a 10-win type of season set up for us, and we weren't able to get it done. So I am disappointed that we didn't get it done. But hey, America did win today, and not America's team. We took care of Jared's boys, and that felt damn good for sure. Take command for life. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, next season's schedule is rough. AFC East, NFC West. I say bring them on. You know, it looks tough on paper. We thought the AFC West was going to be this ridiculously brutal, you know, division this year that was going to put pressure on everybody. You could have beaten the Raiders, the Broncos, and depending on when you caught the Chargers, you could have got those boys too. You never know. Next year, you know, Buffalo, I think is going to be Buffalo. But why can't you beat Miami, New England, and the Jets? NFC West, we thought that was going to be a juggernaut. I told you Sean McVay going to lead those boys high and dry. Like, trade all their draft capital, and then when he doesn't feel like I can win, he going to lead their ass, and they're going to be in a shitty spot. Up top. Oh, my God, what a catch. And a flag. A little PI on top. That's a hell of a play by Christian Watson. Man, he gaining confidence. Damn, that was a good-ass catch. So while a lot of y'all are lamenting what this schedule is going to be, I'm not really tripping over it. We'll see what it – did he catch it? It don't matter. They got PI anyway. So I'm not tripping over it. Y'all can trip if y'all want. I'm not tripping over the schedule. We'll see what it is next year. And we play them one at a time as they come, and we'll see what happens. Spence Collies, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Spence, thank you for being a member of the MOBB, writes, just happy with the win, and maybe Howell is him. We'll see. You know, maybe. That's all you can shoot. If you use the word maybe, I don't have a problem with it. But if it for some of y'all, it sounds more definitive than it should. Maybe he's him. Maybe. I'm not telling you he's not. I'm not telling you he is. I'm just saying, we'll see. William Rogers Jr., thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, why didn't the staff go to Howell against Cleveland instead of Wentz? Draft wishes, Jerry Porter Jr. or Brian Branch, nickel corner. They couldn't have gone to him. That was the biggest game of the season. And if you go to a rookie quarterback there, what does that say to your team? You can't do that. He should have gone back to Heineke, if anything. But I don't have a problem with him going to Wentz. I had a problem with him not taking Heineke, a Wentz out. Touchdown. Packers take the lead. God damn it. They made that shit look easy. All right, Detroit, got to respond. I had a problem with him not taking Wentz out after the first, 3 possessions when he threw 2 picks on the first 3 possessions. He pretty much showed you what this was going to be. And I don't think you should have played Howell. I told you guys before the season, Sam Howell, unless catastrophe strikes, and he was 1 play away from that. When Wentz got injured, he was the primary backup. He was 1 play away from seeing the field. I said, unless catastrophe strikes, he won't see the field unless we're out of it. And I said, I can't see a way where we're out of it until late in the season because of how the schedule is set up. There's no way we're going to be out of it in, say, November or even into December. This is a late season thing. Late December, early January, we might be out of it then, but we're not going to be out of it until then. We weren't out of it until literally the last week of the season. So I didn't think he would play. DJ23, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling it up. DJ23 writes, Ronald told us why we didn't play like this last week. He thought we still had a chance to make the playoffs this week. LOL. You're not wrong. I mean, you're not wrong. Yeah. That's still mind-boggling to me. Rashad Brooks, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Rashad writes, Sam's accuracy and zip on the ball stood out. It did. The Terry touchdown in particular, the slants to Jahan over the middle, where guys didn't have to wait on it. Guys didn't have to reach back for it. They were able to catch balls. Like, what was so refreshing today was the ability to have run after the catch. We don't get a lot of run after the catch because a lot of adjusting to the football has to be done for our receivers. Or you're waiting on a ball, even though a guy's created separation, you're waiting on the ball to get there because it doesn't get there with the zip that it did with Sam. And thus, the defender is able to make a tackle before you can pull away from him, even though you created enough separation to be able to run after catch. We saw a lot of run after catch opportunities today. The Terry touchdown, the Terry third down where he should have caught it and he dropped it, the Jahan slant, the other Jahan slant over the middle of the football field. Both of those were run catch opportunities because he put the ball in a position where they could run after the catch. The Jahan stop route on the comeback where he throws it to the outside, leading him outside, up the field, away from the defender. Like, that's a beautifully thrown football. And Jahan was able to turn up the sideline. I thought he was going to be able to outrun that guy and really have a chance to score there. So I couldn't agree with you more on that. He says he was hitting guys in stride, which is something we don't see often. I agree wholeheartedly. TH and Wentz overthrow a lot of guys. Facts. Big facts, Rashad. You definitely were spot on there. William Lee, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, Taylor said he wants to stay in Washington. He should. And I think he's assuming that Scott Turner will be here, which he will be. So why wouldn't he want to stay here? This is home for him. This is the team that gave him a real shot to be an NFL quarterback. Like, Heineke has a place in this league now, whether it's with Washington or somewhere else. He's solidified himself as an NFL backup, and a damn good one. And because of that, he will never have to worry about taking a math test or sleeping on his sister's couch again for the rest of his life. And in saying that, he's somewhat indebted to Washington for the opportunity, but more so Scott Turner than anything else, but Washington. So yeah, he should feel that way. But look, money talks and everything else walks. So we'll see. They got to show that man the money this offseason, or else he won't be back. Dante Williams, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy Dante writes, Lou, I'm normally lurking, but just wanted to show support. Hey, I love it, man. I appreciate you, Dante. He says, I watched Chase, and I'm seeing the same things as before. He does the same moves with no effectiveness. Keep doing your thing. I mean, I watched that too. You know, jumping in the air, not going anywhere. It doesn't look like Aaron Donald when he jumps in the air. Bull rushes, that's stale, but you're not going to get any explosiveness. And some of those moves may have a little bit more twitch to them when he's, all the way back right. So we'll see. I told you I wasn't looking for much from him. I just want him to get his feet wet, get back out there. And now the beauty of this offseason is it won't be spent rehabbing his knee. He can just go out and get better, strengthen that knee, but be really working on his craft. I don't know if Von Miller will have a pass rushing camp this year or not, but he'll be working with Von Miller like he was last offseason. He didn't attend the camp, which some of y'all thought he did, and there was a report that he did, but he didn't. He'll be in that camp this year if there is one. Gotta catch the ball. Come on now. Gotta catch that. I appreciate you, Dante, and thank you for coming from the darkness into the light, even if it was briefly. It's all love, man. I really appreciate you. William Lee, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. William Lee writes, Chase Young equals Brian Orakpo. I can't stand for that. That's blasphemous. I can't rock with that. Now, ultimately, that may be what he turns into, where he'll get sacks, but they'll be meaningless sacks or whatever. But I can't stand for that. I won't allow that. Not now. Not yet. Got a punt. Derek B, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. This is a double up for you as well, Derek B. Thank you. Who writes, 11 and 4 need to be gone. 14 and draft pick battle for QB1 plus vet with new OC. 4 will tempt them to start him. Seen it. I'm good. Offer Allen bag plus 4 Payne. So you want to give them a bag that's slightly higher than the one that Allen got last year, which it will because the salary cap's going up. So the money's going to go up that the players are receiving. So that makes a ton of sense. I get what you're saying with Taylor, that he'll tempt them to want to, give him a chance to start. Oh, fumble. Packers got it back. Damn. I understand what you're saying, that it'll tempt them to put him in there, but they know who he is. Like, I think the intrigue of Sam Howell gives him a leg up on a Heineke. Heineke at this point, he's Linus's safety blanket, security blanket. The blanket Linus used to walk around with all the time. That's what Taylor Heineke is for Scott Turner and Ron Rivera. He's the security blanket. All right. I don't think they would start him over Sam Howell next year if it came down. That's why I'm comfortable with him coming back, because they've with them benching him, what they've essentially admitted is, hey, he a backup, which is what we already knew. But it was some fans in the fan base, in the Heineke Hive in particular, that didn't want to hear that. But Ron benching him, it was an acknowledgement. Like, Ron never was totally, fully committed to Taylor. He kept saying, hey, we winning, so, we cool. We copacetic over here. But he knew that he wasn't the answer. But if you win it, I'm going to keep my mouth shut. We just going to ride this thing until the wheels fall off. Well, the wheels fell off, after the 49ers lost for Ron and company. But I was like, hey, put them damn wheels back on against the Browns. But they didn't. I don't agree with both 11 and 4 having to go. Just 11 has to go. That's it. 16 Devil Doc. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. 16 Devil Doc. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB rights. Lou. What's up? Just got home from work. Felt like you did. My mind said we should lose, but my heart wanted to win. Need to see the game still, but glad with the results. You're going to be frustrated at the beginning. I'm just going to warn you. I don't want to be a spoiler for you, but you're going to be frustrated with the beginning of the game. But ultimately, you're going to be pleased with how everything turned out. William Lee, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. William Lee writes, we need to draft in this order: center, corner, left guard, linebacker. I'm not big on, but that's my philosophy. Oh my God, pick. All right, we in field goal range. Get some blocks. I'm telling y'all about this boy. Is that Kirby Joseph? I don't know. Aaron Rodgers be struggling. It's a flag. Is that Kirby? Come on, man. Hey, they pointing down the field like he's on Detroit. Pick that thing up, man. What y'all doing? Don't bail Aaron Rodgers' stinking ass out. Yeah, that's Kirby Joseph. Telling y'all that young boy he's a dog. Foaming at the mouth. He's a dog. What they out here talking about? What y'all talking about, Willis? Oh, man, illegal contact. You got to be kidding me. Show me. Hands to the face on a damn rush by Kaminsky. Oh, my God. Yeah, I mean, that's hands to the face. Jesus Christ. Aaron Rodgers stinking ass getting bailed out. Boy, he stink. I love it. Stinking ass Aaron Rodgers. Mike G2. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Okay, let me finish up William. Sorry, I got sidetracked. I'm not a first round center guy, so I think you could probably go out on the free agent market and find you a quality center, to be honest with you. I don't know if that's something that you have to draft, but even if you do draft it, I'm more inclined to get that guy in the 3rd, 4th, or 5th round. Corner is what I'm more interested in early on. If you told me a guard, I draft that in the 1st round, depending on where you sit and what you see and what's there on the board. Linebacker, I'm more, again, later in the draft. You can find a quality, linebacker in the 3rd, 4th round. So I'm not tripping about that. The Lions got Malcolm Rodriguez when, like the 7th round or some shit like that. Like, you can find a linebacker. You just gotta know what you're looking for. Center, that's too early for me to put that at the top of the list. But anyway. Mike G2, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, what's up, Lou? What's up, Mike? Have you heard the front runners for new buyers being Egbali and Feliciano? They were on the team back when the 40% was being shopped. Nah, I haven't heard any names. I don't really get into the transferring of ownership, and who's looking to purchase. That shit doesn't really move me. I just want Daniel Snyder gone. I already told you, I don't really give a shit who the new owners are. Again, we don't know what we're getting ourselves into, but whatever it is, I'm willing to try it out. It can't be any worse than Daniel Snyder. Can't be any worse. Okay. It can be equally as worse and equally as bad, but it can't be any worse. So I'm willing to, whatever it is, I'm willing to take the risk. I just want him gone. So no, I haven't heard about that. 16 Devil Doc, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, at best, our draft position could improve from pick 14 to 10. Of the right teams all won today, they all lost with the exception of Green Bay. It was a lot of teams that, like, we needed Carolina we needed the Saints to win. So that would have, kept Carolina in front of us. But both of them are 7-10. It's a lot of 7-10 teams. So it wouldn't have really mattered. We were going to be ahead of all those teams or behind those teams because they were 7-10 and we're 7-9-1. So we really weren't going to be able to move that far up, to be honest with you. This win isn't going to make that big of a difference. Colton Wheeler, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy, Colton Wheeler, writes, definitely not on board with getting a center. We already pay Rouillet, and Larson is a capable backup. Just had a tough break with injuries. We don't need to throw more capital at that position. Needs a guard/tackle, linebacker, corner, and quarterback. I don't disagree with you. That's why I'm not looking to spend a first-round pick. We still have Rouillet. We still got Larson. Those guys are, as you said, fully capable. Neither of them, both of them will be much more healthier next year than they were this year. Like Rouillet's injury happened way later in the season last year. It was like it was like week 10 against Green Bay or whenever when he broke his ankle or whatever. This year was week 2. So he'll be plenty healthy by the time training camp rolls around. Larson didn't have a massive injury this time around like he did last year. Still was later in the season than you would like, but he'll be back. Both of them will be back. It's just they're unreliable because this is 2 years in a row. That's the only thing. But to your point, I wouldn't be looking to spend early draft capital on that particular position. If you want to get a center, that's fine. Do it in the 4th or 5th round, 3rd round at the earliest, but 4th or 5th round is fine. To me, to your point, guard and tackle are much bigger needs on the offensive line, specifically guard, than it is center. But linebacker, corner, and quarterback are also big needs as well. I couldn't agree with you more. Colton Wheeler. Green Wingman. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Green Wingman writes, Happy New Year. Likewise. Interested in opinion on Sam Howell. Do you see him as a bridge for the next apparent, or do you give him a chance to train in training camp battle for the QB1? The latter of those two options. I think he will be in the mix for an opportunity to start. If there is a battle, he'll be a part of it with a legitimate shot to be QB1. And if he's doing battle with an outsider that isn't, established in the league, he'll have the upper hand. I truly believe that because he knows the system. He's been here. This will be his 3rd offseason that he'll be going into. So he'll be more comfortable in Scott Turner's system. I hate that I'm even saying that, but he'll be here. But if it's a Derek Carr or a Jimmy Garoppolo, they're not bringing that guy here to sit behind Sam Howell. So the hope is they either draft a rookie or they just say, all right, we'll bring back Heineke and you two guys will be our quarterbacks. And I'm fine with that. I really am. Especially I want to see. I need to know. Just like I needed to know with Heineke. I just wanted to know. And, you never want to see anybody get hurt. But thankfully, Ryan Fitzpatrick was able to give us a chance to see a full season of Heineke so we could know. So, yeah. I think he'll get an opportunity in camp, in a battle, to be that guy. Brandon J, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Brandon J writes, your team still beat the Vegas odds for wins, Lou. I told you I would have put money down, but I didn't think we were going to win this game. I thought that we were going to lose, but the number was 7.5. At some shops, if you did it early enough, you could have got it at 7, but the number was 7.5. And I told you that was stealing for me. I would have put down a rack on that. If I had it at that time, I would have done it. You came at me with that number 2 years ago with the team we had and the schedule we had this year, I'd have put a rack down, because I was that confident in our ability to win more than 7.5 games. It got dicey. We were at 7 wins on November the 30th. So it shouldn't have come down to this, but it did. But we got to 8. So you were right about that. Donovan A, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Donovan A writes, wanted us to lose, but wow, 14 was kind of impressive, and I'm kind of glad we won, to be honest. Look, I told you guys, I said, I'm not going to lie to y'all. I came into the game all week because I was expecting an ass thrashing. So, mentally I told myself, hey, I'm cool with the loss. I'm not even tripping. I'm not necessarily rooting for a loss, but I would prefer us to lose the game because of what it could mean from a draft perspective. But seeing the way that Dak played, seeing the way that Sam was able to respond to that early pick, seeing the way that he was able to use his legs, and just knowing how we destroyed Dallas. Now, all week, the conversation surrounding Dallas is going to be about them limping into the playoffs. This was an ugly performance. They stunk it up. Can they turn it around and beat Tampa Bay? I love that. I love that we're the root cause of that. I love that Dak Prescott just turned in one of the worst days of his career, and we were the reason that he turned in one of the worst days of his career. I love that because we haven't been able to beat Dakota. So, yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it. Gearcell 1, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Gearcell 1, thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes, what up, Lou? What's up, Gearcell 1? Greetings from Lefty Nation. You know what it is. Ha! Guess I need to just enjoy getting a new owner and live with another year of Ron wearing those polyester corduroy sweatpants another year. Tragic. You remember the Inkwell? He said, you can start a fire. Remember you had on corduroy pants? You know what it is. Go ahead and mentally prepare yourself for that. Gearcell 1. Jeremiah C, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes, do you see Dallas and Philly one and done from the way they've been playing? Not necessarily Philly, even though this was not an emphatic, close to the season against the Giants backups. However, understand that Jalen Hurts was not 100%. I watched that game. He did not want any contact. He was sliding well before defenders even got near him. It's not the same Jalen Hurts that we saw earlier. Another week of rest, and maybe because he was close. And had they cinched up the division already, he would not have played. So maybe, all right, I like this drive the Lions are putting together. Maybe with this week off, he comes back. He's a lot fresher, healthier, and he gets back to being the Jalen Hurts that was once in the MVP discussion. As for Dallas, how could you not feel like they're going to be one and done after watching them? I still think they've got a real legitimate shot to beat Tampa Bay. I don't buy what the Buccaneers are selling. I've already told you that. But the way they're turning it over every single week, it's hard for me to envision them not turning it over next week against Tampa Bay. And I could easily see them losing that game. So we'll see what happens. DJ23, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. DJ23 writes, Bears rubbing their hands like Birdman with the first pick, LOL. They about to murder somebody. I'm talking about in cold blood. They about to murder somebody in broad daylight. Oh, it's about to get ugly. Yeah, the Bears are about to make out like bandits, boy. If their GM is legit, they could fast track their way to being a really viable team, not only in that division in the NFC North, but in the conference and in the league with this opportunity that's in front of them. If Justin Fields is legit, their cap situation is about to be A1. They about to have all the draft capital you could ask for. They shit about to be awesome. Take command for life. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, any free agents you have your eye on this offseason? I haven't taken a peek see at that. You guys will know. Trust me, we got plenty of time to talk about that. There were some last year, like, Foye Oluokun. The year before that, I think it was the Bills linebacker, Matt Milano. I'll always let you know, 2 years ago, it was Matt Milano and Hilton, Mike Hilton from the Steelers who went to the Bengals. Those are the guys that I really had my eye on 2 years ago. I think last year was Foye Oluokun, who I really was looking at linebacker. I'll let you guys know. When we get, we'll have plenty of discussions about free agents and what I think and all of that good stuff. So, yeah, for sure. All right. That is it. Got 10 minutes left in this game. I'll be live post-game, Lions, Packers. This has been a really good contest. Exactly what I thought it would be. Two teams fighting their asses off, even though the Lions aren't playing for a playoff spot. They would love nothing more than to drag Green Bay home with them. And I think they're going to have a great opportunity to do it. They got 9 minutes to go in this game, and they're already in field goal range. And if they get a touchdown here, I think Green Bay's going to roast. So we'll see what happens. I'll be live after that. But Washington gets the win 26-6 over Dallas. Finished the season at 500, 8-1. Ron Rivera finally gets over the 7-win threshold. Washington holds Dak Prescott to his worst completion percentage in his career, 14 of 37 for 37%. Dallas was awful in this game, turned it over. You could call it 3 times with the dropped punt, but 2 massive turnovers, another one with the drop punt. And 10 3-and-outs in the game for an offense that was dynamic and explosive this season. I'd be lying to you if I didn't say it felt good to do this to Dak Prescott. Dakota was due for one of these from us. Boy, did it feel good. And again, not going to the playoffs sucks, but at least I have some ammunition in my back pocket now. When we get into these Super Friends streams, I got a little something that I can pull out of my back pocket. So feels good. Playoffs would feel better, but I have to take this as a consolation prize. So anyway, appreciate y'all. The season finale of the Commanders Nightly News will be next week. And so we'll do that. And go ahead and finish watching this game. This looks like it's got a great finish written all over it. DeAndre Swift just got injured. Looked like he got his ankle rolled up on. That sucks because he was kicking their ass on this drive. But finish watching this game. We'll come back and break it down afterwards. You guys enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll reconvene tomorrow. You know what it is. Y'all take care. God bless, and good night.